put the country in the toilet. Hillary will just pull the handle, and Donald Trump will flush it. In November 2016, vote for me, David John Sponheim, for president. Don't be a sheeple, everybody. It's time for Sponheim. We stand for liberty, equality, and sustainability. We're Americans, everyone, and this is America's Third Party. So join the voter revolt and visit us at AmericasThirdParty.com. All right, we are up and running. This is Freedom Friday. Welcome to the show. All right, we got a good show. A lot of people here. Very interesting things to talk about tonight. Bad news. As you know, I'm an anti-war guy, and we have an anti-war rally. Tomorrow will also be our Halloween show. And it's fitting because it's going to converge on our president turning into a monster. That's right. This president who's turned his back on the mandate that the Democrats chose for non-war is sending boots into Syria, folks, doing exactly what we did in Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan. The same mistake being played out over and over and over again. You're seeing Washington now. The United States is set to deploy troops on the ground in Syria for the first time to advise and assist rebels combating ISIS. This is exactly the same procedures that we followed with Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Mistakes are continually being made with the two-party system, and we are not ever going to stop this endless cycle of war, folks, because these people that get the two parties elected, they're all about making money on war. They don't care about people. They just want people to give them money for weapons. They want to kill people so that they can continue making weapons. It's that simple. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's a little bit more complicated. War actually depopulates the earth, and these people are globalists that want to depopulate the earth. They don't care about the future of our nation. They'll throw our nation under the bus. They'll throw our young men out there to die, as they've done with 5,000 in Iraq and 1,000 in Afghanistan, roughly speaking. We've lost a lot of lives, gaining no ground in wars we can't win. And what is Obama doing? Starting another war. Just as I predicted in the 2008 Obama impersonation video that I brought you guys, and just like I predicted in 2014 when I redid the Obama's video, Broken St. Obama's video, impersonating Barack Obama, talking about all the issues that he is ultimately caving in on and becoming part of the problem, trying to reveal what's really happening. Well, I don't think we need a little depopulating. The fact of the matter is that's a scam that's been pulled over the American people's eyes. Our country isn't dealing with a population crisis. The world isn't getting overly crowded. The industrialists are polluting more, and worse than that, they're dumping crap in the air, which is even more disturbing. I mean, you can look right here at this type of activity here is a result of, believe it or not, chemtrails being distributed along the California coastline, above the coastline, all designed to push precipitation into the northwest where we are. They are purposely modifying the weather and creating what appears to be a drought in California. Purposely. Our nation's under attack, folks. This is not something I can just lightly talk about either. We are under a slow attack by some internal force that's decided to just spray chemicals all over the air, and we'll be talking about that later tonight. I don't want to bore you right now with the details of what's really happening. The military has about 20 years to work on weather warfare methods, which it euphemistically calls weather modification. Exactly. Thank you so much. Noble Watchman. But this is a process that's going on. So if you think there's global climate change and you're like really concerned and you want to do cap and trade and carbon point legislation and taxation, and then you ought to obviously vote for a Hillary, because that's all she wants. She just wants to tax you to death. And she probably supports Obama in fighting a war in Syria, which you can just look at the problem. It's not something that's real. ISIS started in CIA training camps in Jordan. ISIL forces are being funded by Barack Obama. The very enemy of the nation we call Iraq, which we helped to establish what we think is a democracy, is not. But we basically have created the counter forces to stop the Iraqi government. We created ISIL. And if you're saying, what do you mean? I thought ISIL and ISIS were our enemies. Actually, no. Actually, if you listen to Barack Obama specifically, he's basically sending in all kinds of support. He's training Sunnis in Iraq. They're probably going up as rebels right now to fight the supposed Syrian government. I don't know. I mean, ISIS, it's extremely hard to understand. And when you see Barack Obama make mistakes time and time again, he slips up and says these things. Watch this.
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for telling me you're training up ISIL forces. Yeah, see? So they're basically funding ISIS, ISIL, and starting the rebels. And the rebels, it turns out, are giving all the equipment that we sent in over to these ISIS people. And guess who's attacking ISIS? Russia. Russia has sent in all kinds of amazing aircraft and artillery, and they're getting ready for a full-scale war with the U.S. And why is this happening? You're wondering, and you're going, I was a Democrat and I voted for Obama. I don't want war. You're voting for the National Socialist Party of the Democrats. They are entirely at the controls of the puppet masters at the World Bank and the IMF. They're basically using our country as the police force to take over Syria, to take over their central bank, to topple Iran, and to ultimately take over Russia, because they can't control Russia. They want total control, these people at the World Bank. They don't want anyone to step in the way. And I'm not saying it's the people at the World Bank. It's actually the people behind the scenes at the World Bank. These are Venetian royalty. These are people, monarchs of the past, that have rebranded their entire plan and called it the New World Order. Pretty clever, huh? To take monarchies and feudalism and rebrand it and call it something new. That's what they've done. And a lot of you Democrats who've been thinking, well, we need a global world economy, you're falling into that entire problem. You're basically their pawns. And you need to step out of that box and vote third party. Hello there. Nice to hear good words from Randall. Thank you so much. That makes me feel good. During the beginning of our show, we have a lot of guests that come in that attack me. Many of them are extremists on the far right or on the far left. Some of them are communists. They don't like my centrist politics. And every single show at the beginning, I have to shut guest chat off because it's like this. You know, I've got to purge them. You know, it's all dog eat dog. It's like crazy stuff. So we want to make sure that everyone here does understand that this is an important show. We don't want you to demoralize us. We don't want you to demoralize our viewers and our chatters. We want you to treat everyone with respect, because this is a really difficult thing we're doing. 7 years in the making. Building a political movement that'll challenge the two parties is extremely difficult, and it takes a lot of effort. Many of you are here because you're pissed off that you're getting the Democrats tell you can't do anything. You can't even, have a flag. Some people from the South, Southern Democrats, would love to buy flags like this on Amazon. They can't. They're not available now because Barack Obama decided that this isn't a free country. You don't have freedom of speech. These Democrats will slowly take over every single freedom we have if we let them. And that's why this party is going to build steam and take over the position of leadership for this country. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe my purpose in life is to do this, and I'm totally dedicated to it. Hey, we've got a lot of Southern Democrats that support us, believe it or not. I support gun rights. But I'm also a person who doesn't want to literally watch our nation turn into the corporate 911 for the world leaders that are controlling the monetary system. We want to develop new technologies, things that'll truly spark our economy, not the world economy. And businesses that get U.S. loans in the future, you can't outsource. We won't allow you to outsource if you get a U.S. loan. If you're a regular business that doesn't want to get a U.S. loan, by all means, do whatever you want, outsource. But we're going to tie a 2% loan to business, U.S. businesses that hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour to start with. That's a way to jumpstart this economy. None of the other candidates have this idea. I'm going to ask you to not post weird things like that in our show. And in fact, I'm going to ban you. That is a disgusting picture that you just sent in. I'm sorry I actually clicked on it. Freedom Friday, welcome. Yeah. So yeah, I don't mind talking about some amazing things tonight. But tomorrow night is our Halloween show where we're going to be doing the impersonation of Donald Trump. It's as best I can do. I've had a problem with getting his voice. I'm still not locating it within my voice registry. But we'll work on it, you know. It's going to be as good as I can do it. Here is the play of...
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird!
Here's him talking about his daughter. I want to play this for you.
On the cover of the magazine, and she had not...
This is going to be an interesting answer.
He doesn't even want you to have a drink. I know it. So.
It would be really disappointing. Not really. But it would depend on what was inside the magazine.
All right, now he's talking about Playboy. Now it's interesting to note that Playboy is no longer going to have nudity. Isn't that interesting? And this came out in 2007, this particular clip of Donald. You can watch it. Well, I'm going to just tell you, this is a man that has some weird issues. I mean, I got to tell you, it's strange to hear a father talk about his daughter this way. It's just bizarre. He does a lot of things out of step with the norm, but this is really kind of strange.
If she posed, it would be fine. But if they put her picture on...
Yeah, but it depends on what goes inside the magazine.
Well, see, that's her
Inside the-
gripe. That's
right.
this girl's gripe.
And
People
there was nothing.
assume there'll be nude photos.
Right, you do assume
Misleading.
that with Playboy.
Okay, she
But
didn't
if there
know that
weren't, you
Playboy-
wouldn't have an issue with it then. If they were using her to...
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop
You know what? You are sick.
I know,
Yeah.
isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
No, how
Well, you're
terrible.
known for saying
Is that
outrageous
terrible?
things,
Just
Mr.
like
Trump.
Who are you, Woody Allen?
All right, apparently he doesn't seem to have any awareness at all. Social awareness doesn't seem to be his forte. Apparently he's gotten away with it because he has a lot of power and money. But if anybody said that publicly, especially if the daughter was under 18, they'd probably get arrested. Okay, let's take a look here. What do we have? Jimmy, you've got the same fixation. We're banning anybody who says that. Yeah. David, I have a feeling that if you got a decent wig, that even without the voice, Trump might be your best yet. Jacket and red tie wig. He'll be epic. Okay, yeah, I'll have a jacket on, Flake Life, and a wig. And I went through 2 wigs to get to the Donald Trump wig. I didn't think I'd have to, but I decided that the first wig I got, of course I'm not a convicted anything. Somebody did a background check on me, a criminal background check, and found nothing except for 2 tickets, one of which was expunged because I went to traffic school. And that's true. I only tell people I have 1 ticket, though, because I had 1 expunged. All right, so let's say I bring you a bumper sticker. Yeah, you could do this. It wouldn't be that hard to put a bumper sticker on on your car, right? Is that hard to do? At our website, AmericasThirdParty.com, you can actually get a bumper sticker for $4 sent to you. Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it, man. We're trying to wake up the American people to what's happening, that's for sure. Here's a very interesting picture of Donald and his daughter, Ivanka. And it's indicative of what we're talking about here. I'm not going to insinuate, I'm going to outright say it's inappropriate for him to say these things about his beautiful daughter because she's his daughter, okay? I mean, where did he grow up? In New York? I mean, hoy vey. What's the deal here? Apparently, what goes on in New York stays in New York. Thank you, Human Pasted. That was good. Well, hey, it's great to have a beautiful daughter. I'm really happy for him. And I got to tell you, I really think Ivanka is a very special person. Truly. From my watching Celebrity Apprentice, I thought that she was a dynamic add-on to that show. It's just looking at a fat guy tell people they're fired and watching him sit there and flatulate, it's not exactly something that was enjoyable. Whereas Ivanka, when she spoke, she was eloquent, she's very intelligent. And she has every right to defend her father in this matter. And I don't mean to imply that her father did anything wrong either. It's just inappropriate saying that you would date your daughter. I mean, come on. Come on. Oy vey. And what's with his constant, sucking up to the AIPAC forces? Why is Donald Trump kissing Israel's ass? It's interesting. Donald Trump must have done some demographics on this. The people that don't like illegal aliens also don't like our relationship with Israel. Yet he's kissing Israel's ass and saying he wants to deport all the illegals, including legal U.S. citizens who are Muslims. Oh, this guy's really up there. I'd put him right near, some of the bigger names like Hitler, Manson. David, who is that bleep bleep posting videos? Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to assume it's you. Yes, and Ivanka converted to Orthodox Judaism for her Jewish husband. And that's a reason why Donald Trump is probably sucking up to the Jewish people in his area. But doesn't he realize that's killing his votes? I mean, being a Zionist is not exactly good for people who don't want illegal aliens in their backyard. It's really, he's kind of ruining his opportunities to do the thing, reach out to the people that want some sober insanity to our foreign policy. We don't want to do the bidding of Israel. Yeah, if you want to date your daughter, you really have to go to learn dating level 1. Yeah, I bet. Ron Helix is a good guy. And if you don't like that proud alcoholic, then you've got a serious drinking problem, okay? I would urge you to convert to marijuana, a state that's legally allowing it to benefit you. Frankly, I would move away from the state you're in and go to, you're in Florida, right? I would move to like Colorado. That's the closest state. Actually, D.C. is closer. You could actually smoke, all you want. Marijuana is legal in D.C. I knew you'd be saying that, and that's why I have to ban you. All right. Well, we got one more. Proud alcoholic has to go. Well, whatever, Charles. Are you Asian guy? You want to date Ivanka? I knew you would be leaving too. Wow. Okay, thank you so much for coming in, though, and being such jerks. Wow. So what are they doing? Dumping lithium on us. We're free to breathe, folks, but we're really free to breathe fresh air. There's a lithium experiment going on over Oregon, and the U.S. Navy's involved. Let me play you a video here. I have not seen any part of this video.
Namaste, sentient beings, citizen of Gotham. It is Monday, October 19th, 2015. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in. As always, I hope all of you are doing well. Start of our work week. 2 articles by A Sheep No More. One is lithium and the experiment over Oregon. well as U.S. Navy offensive biological warfare training video is beyond shocking. I'm going to read this one first because it's short, the other one's a lot longer. Both talking about the same things. Those that doubt the twisted and psychotic nature of our own U.S. military need to consider long and hard the contents of the newly declassified 14-minute video below. The entire composition of this military training film is far beyond disturbing and alarming. The criminal cabal that currently rules the world are well aware of the fact that populations are beginning to wake up to their ongoing global atmospheric spraying programs of total dissemination and homicide. Decimation, and homicide. Which this is all about the chemtrails that have barium and nanoparticles in them for...
All right, so this is an extension of that video. We'll play that video tonight. We are fully aware of what's going on, and it doesn't take a lot to realize what they're doing to us. You know, it's really sad, actually. So yeah, we're getting sprayed on, everybody. It's nothing I can do to control that. It's a non-stop event. It goes on every day. If you're not in an area that's getting sprayed, it's because they're dehydrating the area. If they're dumping lithium on you and they're not creating water accumulation by putting silver iodide in the clouds, then you are probably just being dumbed down, because lithium is one of the techniques they use to dumb down our population. Okay, so no chemtrails. I should just put some chemtrails in the sky. What do you say? Chemtrails in the sky. You're like, whoosh. Oh yeah, that's supposed to be normal. That's a normal sky. Somebody's going to accuse me of writing satanic symbolism in the sky. Hi, Brandy. Welcome. This isn't the AA meeting. You came to the wrong location. Yeah. I'm David. I'm not an alcoholic. You know, there should be an AA meeting for people who are not addicted to anything. What about Coffee Anonymous? CA meeting. I'm David. I love rich Colombian hazelnut coffee. Welcome, David. I'm totally addicted to hazelnut coffee. Hello, David. How can we help you? Well, I admit I have a problem. I love it. But I don't like people that think I drink too much coffee. It is the richest kind. It is from Colombia. You know the Juan Valdez. He worked with me and my friend, Ricardo Montalban. And he said, yes, David, it's a rich Corinthian leather. Cordoba. All right, let's see what we have here. Your problem is also a solution to your mild fatigue. Oh yeah, I know. It is getting a little bit fatiguing. I'm in my 7th year of broadcasting 4 hours a day. I'm pushing past 7,000 hours. So yeah, coffee has helped immensely. I couldn't have done it without coffee. David, hello from Mishina Ochin, Nara, Japan. Do you believe this? Let's take a look. Thank you for coming into the show. Oh yes. The TR-3B, yes, I do believe it exists. This is the stealth weaponry that's being developed. That's what people are saying. Look at that. Another picture of the TR-3B, folks. From Reutlingen, Germany in 2013. Yeah, it's a flying veg. Yeah, ooh, good one. From Germany. Virginia, yeah. Nice. That's a good one. Thank you. Very good link from Japan. That's pretty close to real, folks. Kassel, Germany. This is the TR-3B, and it was talked about briefly in a newspaper called the Jacobin Tribune in 2010. They talked about it. It can fly at amazing speeds. There's another picture. Most of all, it goes 70,000 feet in the air and has video cloaking capability. That's a lot of good video of it. I don't think I've ever seen that much video of it. Wow. Paris, France, 2011. So, what does the room think? What do you think, guys? Yes, no, real? I think it's very real. It's the kind of thing that they've developed. David, have you read the prophecy in Revelations? I didn't know. Are you that way? You have their names of the loose women? Yeah, those pretty. You are entertaining, Stevie. Thank you. I'm Mr. Entertainment. The reason why I don't go partying anymore, because all the party hosts are jealous of me. Nobody invites me to parties anymore, because I'm the life of the party. According to Noble Watchman, TR3B is very real and has been in use for some time. Yeah, so when I talk about UFOs, I'm not talking about aliens. I'm talking about advanced technology. You've got a fun song for Fun Friday? I can't play that. You know, the problem with playing songs of any sort, they're going to kick me off YouTube when I do. Unless they're a remix that like Scissor Fight works on. Yeah, they'll say I'm violating their copyright. I'm serious. I could play like 5 seconds and they'd say that. I don't want to lose my... I wish I could, but I don't want to lose my ability to record on YouTube. We're looking at other alternative networks as well to broadcast on, like Live Link and other areas. I'm getting a little tired of this new thing that YouTube's putting together, which is a... called YouTube Red. Now, you thought that the Democratic leadership was heading to the left, right? Well, that's communistic. Why would you think YouTube came out with the word red, which implies communism? Because it is communism. It's another way to start censoring people. And they're going to try to charge $9.99 per month for people to use YouTube. And it's a failed concept. I don't believe it's ever going to work. Remember when Hulu tried to charge a lot and they didn't make the migration to Netflix? It's a no-brainer. I mean, YouTube is way late on that. Not RedTube. That's something else. YouTube Red. Some people will confuse it with RedTube, though. You like my nose? Well, thank you. It was designed to be similar to most noses on the planet. I'm sure my mother and dad were thinking, well, let's think of a guy with a nose that'll match both of our noses. And my nose is kind of like a mix between my mom and dad's. As it should be. Yeah, they're just trying to profit. That's the whole point. YouTube owns Google. You mean Google owns YouTube? Google is owned by the Navy. The U.S. Navy owns Google. I know. I was shocked to find out the NSA doesn't own them. So if you were to watch television on YouTube as your only source of information and entertainment, you'll end up not having any access to certain important shows. They're going to start limiting access. So if you want to go watch one of my videos and look at how I impersonated a robot, you will find that it is perhaps impossible to actually determine the difference between me and a robot. Partly because of my incredible voice, which uses smoothing technology designed to make it seem like I'm human. Actually, I got to tell you, I'm 100% human. That's a good movie, Ex Machina. I do a little comedy routine occasionally on our show, and I pretend to be a robot. But apparently Hillary Clinton was watching me one day. And she thought it was so funny that she decided to pretend like she was a robot too. But she didn't say she wasn't a robot. That's the difference between Hillary and I. Hillary and me. Yeah, she decided that she said she's a robot. She's really not human. I'm not an android, no. I am really a real guy. I used to do a lot of voice work, and I have fun with my voice. It's just one of those things I do. It's kind of a hobby. But yeah, she actually announced, and I know I've run this ad over and over again on every show. Please don't hate me for stating the obvious, but Hillary Clinton in this Vanity Fair article has stated that I'm really not even a human being. Yeah, so you can check it out yourself. Somebody said, why are you... Yeah, she's so hot, yeah. Why are you not sweating, Hillary? And she goes on to talk about how she doesn't sweat. Some newscaster or pundit asked her that. Tracy Clayton, a woman interviewing, said, I just mean physically. I'm genuinely curious what your deodorant is. And the banter went back and forth, and she said, you guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto at a very long time ago. People think that, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created it. Oh no, I mean a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his garage. And the syntax of the statement that she made is so weird. And she says, I thought he threw away the plans. At least that's what he told me when he programmed me. And that's what a computer would say. It's a crazy video. Oh, please, man. We don't tolerate any racial stuff here. We have a zero tolerance for racism. I would think talking about Hillary Clinton being a robot would trump your racist slur that you tried to put in our show. Yeah, I mean, there's other things to talk about. The lithium experiment over Oregon. I could go through a whole list of things. FEMA camps, concentration camps that are being put are opening up. Yeah, FEMA's opened up their first concentration camp, folks, in case you're wondering. You wonder about anything. Wonder, who wrote the book of FEMA? Beekman, I told you they censor our shows on YouTube. How many times have I told you that? I can't do a damn thing about it. No, I don't. Honestly, we have censored shows. We don't have a hit counter that normally... You think the government wants me to talk about FEMA's concentration camps officially opening in Arizona? Yeah. Yeah, well, they like... It's hot there. I have a twin brother, really. I didn't know that. My mom never told me that.
Center of a huge space federation.
Oh, you think I seem like Data? Interesting. You think that I'm speaking like Data? That is funny. Ah.
A population of trillions.
Trillions? I've never heard the word Takom before.
Understandable. It has been extinct for 600,000 of our years.
His fingers are in a Chinese torture device that they sell They sold at dime stores back in the day. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about the FEMA camp that many of you didn't realize existed. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has officially opened their first political realignment facility. Yeah, I'll give you the link if you guys check it out. Many people say the National Report is not a real site. Don't stop, because I can't stop the impressions. They're totally cool, dude. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't necessarily believe this is a fake site. I tend to believe it's more likely real, and they're trying to scare the living daylights out of people. Well, our Halloween show is going to be like kind of like a riot. I've got some sample music. Let me bring out some of the Halloween stuff that we got for tomorrow night. some fun stuff. We've got pictures. I mean, a whole list of pictures that are Halloween related. Here's a scary monster. To be a liar? Is he a liar or is he a fool? I don't know. I do know he wants $18 trillion more in debt. He said he wants to borrow another $18 trillion to finance government jobs. You know, I could go as Bernie Sanders. I don't know. I think I may be missing my calling. I look a lot like him. Oy vey! Such a deal! But no, we're going to be bringing in real scary stuff. Put dry ice in your coffee tomorrow. I'd have to go buy that. I don't have the money for dry ice. It was hard enough for me to buy another Donald Trump wig. I spent some money on it today. I couldn't stand actually having a wig that didn't do exactly like I wanted it to do. I'm going to actually use the other wig for our show. I don't look a bit like Howdy Doody. That's wrong, D'Artagnan. Ah, D'Artagnan rules the waves. Da 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 da. Yeah, here's a picture of what I was gonna look like. We'll be doing the show with this wig on. Somebody said, David, you look 10 years younger with that wig on. Yeah, that's gonna be my new hair. But that's not the Donald Trump look. Yeah. Well, I've got real hair, but I kind of like the idea of just wearing a wig. So, I like short hair in real life, but longer hair looks better on my head, so I'm going to go with that. This is not the wig I'll be wearing after all. I found another wig that looks better, more like Donald Trump. Hi there, Mad Dog. Thank you. Well, anyway, that'll be the fun new wig coming up in our show. The new and improved David. I don't mind wearing a wig. It's no big deal. So if you don't want FEMA camps, you need to get a bumper sticker and put it on your bumper. AmericasThirdParty.com is a plan to actually stop the police state. What I want to do, I came up with the 1,000-mile fence idea. Donald Trump took my idea and used it as his own. I can't control what he does. Michelle Bachmann borrowed my idea too in 2012. But the fact of the matter is, I want to take down the fencing around all these FEMA camps. I actually want to break down all the fencing and bring it to the southern border and use that fencing that's around FEMA camps to populate around the border. Very simple plan. We don't have to waste money on new fencing, and we solve two problems with one stroke, if you know what I mean. You got two problems you can solve with two strokes. But me, I'm going to assume that you're going to, understand what I'm talking about. Okay, David, here's at least a bar in those FEMA camps. No, they've got a guillotine though. Yeah, this is Freedom Friday, where we talk about how our freedom is dwindling. I know. I wanted you to know that this is something, that's a personal issue. I don't want to get into the specifics. Bad lip readers transcribe the Democratic debate. Oh, this should be funny. Let's play that. It's kind of like the Democratic Party, a big void. Here we go. Debate 2015.
This woman makes dynamite beans.
I do. Pinto.
And the Pintos, S. Anderson. And let me say something about those beans as well.
Okay, moving on. Governor O'Malley, during birth, how do babies exit the mother's body? Wait, so the babies come out somehow. Wait, I just gotta think, how?
I was trying to rehearse my lines by not talking. Yeah, we're going to see a woman who actually has nothing on her mind. This is the real Hillary. This is the woman who can't answer questions about Benghazi. What difference at this point does it make? Let's see if I can do that. What difference at this point does it make? Bill has been at Orgy Island. I haven't seen him lately. He's with his friend Jeffrey Epstein. Sorry. John, that is not true. You're going to be banned completely, John, if you continue to come in here and spam crap in our show. Well, let's be clear. Dr. Phil is not a real person. It's a fake guy. I don't think this woman can make any decisions at all. I don't think she has the ability. So whatever chip is in her head is working. It's probably the only decision she'll make. It'll be a chipped memory situation. Walt Disney's last words were Kurt Russell. Maybe he was talking about Kurt Russell in that movie that he made. Disney made a movie with Kurt Russell where he played a genius, a computer whiz. I am not on oregano. I've moved on to basil. Some people accuse me of smoking. I don't. I vape. Thank you. Thank you very much. No, well, if it was raked over the coals, she was robotic. And I have got 10 hours of that clip of her talking to the Benghazi hearing. And I'm going to do some editing of my own and pull up all her responses where she refused to talk about why she was searching for methods of mind control. They actually asked her some of these questions, and it should have been made public on mainstream media, but they didn't do it. But one of her web searches was to find out about mind control. And another question that came up was, why was she looking at how to hide her emails? One of her web searches showed that she was trying to find a way to hide her emails. I want to get a response on that. So I have to listen through 10 hours of that entire Benghazi hearing to get to those clever little clips, because nobody else took the time to edit those down. Hey, look at the new FEMA concentration camp that just opened in Arizona. Yeah. They've got a guillotine and everything. Well, look, if you don't know what vaping is doing to people, it's enlightening them. They're becoming new people. They're heading into it, like people with PTSD and they vape. They start to feel really good. Yeah, as opposed to down in the dump wanting to commit suicide. We've got one clip from Scissor Fight, though, of a fake. Okay. We've got a clip of a fake cough. A fake coughing fit. Oh, really? Okay, good. Thank you. I will play that right now.
Review time, hot! I just had some oatmeal, and this is what the everyday citizen watches on TV and believes with a passion.
I thought the perfect
old fire pants
choice to work with Ambassador Pickering. As you know, he was nominated by President George W. Bush to be chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Oh, you all right? You all right?
He served as Chief of Naval Operations.
Yeah.
He led NATO's Joint Force Command, U.S. naval forces in Europe, commanded a missile cruiser, a missile destroyer, a tanker. He served in Vietnam and the Persian Gulf.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh, she's stalling.
You need some water, madam?
Water for that fire on her pants.
I don't know if she actually needs water. I think she may need some lubrication. After all, the robot needs a lubrication in the voice box. Well, Well, I must say, I would love to sit and look at Hillary cough, but we actually have to fix the country. We don't have time for this. Look at marijuana is medicinal. I strongly support legalization. I want to get rid of the fencing around these FEMA camps. I don't know how clear I have to make it for you. I want a lot of things. I want a speedboat. I want something that'll roll along, you know, get good mileage, like a 4-stroke engine. I want something that I can, you know, move around in on the ocean, open ocean. Well, let's be clear. That's what I want. I've not seen the movie, Australian movie, Good Night, Mommy. Good day, good night, Mommy. How does it sound? Good night, Mommy. I think I'll put that on the Barbie. Cali is a good example of how weed doesn't free sheep's minds. You don't think California has free people who have freed their minds? I can take you to a couple places in California that'll blow your mind. Have you ever been to Laytonville? It's like sustainable hog heaven. You walk out there and they're like growing 10 plants in their backyard and they're going, oh, totally, how are you? I'm totally in tune with my environment and I don't pay a lot of taxes. Seriously. I mean, there's some really well-heeled people out there enjoying whatever. You anti-legalization people really have a problem. You're the alcoholics that are sitting around getting drunk all the time. Bunch of frickin' hypocrites. Frickin'. I've never said the F word. I've only said frickin'. Yeah. Especially when I use the word hypocrite. Yeah, you people are total hypocrites. You're out there boozing up, killing your liver, when you should legalize. Yeah. So obviously you don't know what's going on. And the fact that it's medicinal, it's not physically addictive, whereas alcohol is not medicinal and it's not physically addictive. Excuse me, and is physically addictive. You know that there was a grape cure at one time? They thought that alcohol and drinking wine prevented illness. I saw that disclaimer, yeah. It's CIA typical disclaimer. They're claiming it's a news and political satire web publication. I know. But it is interesting, it does exist. It's one of those reveals where they actually had to take a picture of the FEMA camp in order to actually show it. So, because of that, the article actually has merit. I have confirmation this FEMA camp does exist. So yes, I agree, and I even prefaced my statement by saying this is a fake site that I have behind me. But they can't fake this, folks. This is real. That's a photo of some really serious tents, all designed. And we've got other people who documented this entire location. They've got an actual guillotine at this location. Drug war is a sham, huh? What? Yeah, well, we definitely will look at legalizing all drugs, but right now we're going to start with marijuana. And it's not even a drug. It's an herb. Yeah. Well, welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world order. Welcome to the new world order. Laura and I, we're not, doing anything. I just don't think we need to start another war. And when I saw the news today, and I saw Barack Obama is starting another war, I knew exactly what was going on. I predicted this would happen. No, Beekman, I don't want people to be on drugs. I think people should vape some herb. Big difference. Obama has sent special operations forces to help fight ISIS in Syria. Basically, this is going to be an all-out war against Russia. You know that. There's no way he can sever his relationship with ISIS. ISIS released a video recently about having the ability to have large-scale executions, and they had numerous Toyotas roaming, in front of the cameras were Toyota pickups that were brand new. Somebody actually asked Toyota, where did they get those in the Middle East? And Toyota looked into it. And they found out that the only request for Toyota pickups in the past 2 years in the Middle East has come from our State Department. So you tell me how ISIS got all those Toyota pickups when they posted that video last week. Cool. Chemtrail Cowboy's herb juicing his atomizer. Yeah, they were anti-aircraft guns mounted on the Toyotas. Thank you, refried beans. Wow. So you got more stuff for me, Asinkus? Yeah. You got a name? I assume you were the guest from last week. Thank you. You're taking a big risk by getting a name, you know. But you were not email authenticated because I don't have that on, right? Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot of people. Yes, ISIS, Illuminati, the whole thing, it's all connected to the CIA, unfortunately. And, you know, I wish our government wasn't so confused or... Yeah, Toyotas can be used for a lot of things. Good trucks. Well, you can think that ISIS is anything. The fact is, that we just had a person talk about the operation that Barack Obama had, along with Hillary, on their brains. So we're getting information brought to us from Asinkus. I have to cut and paste everything that you give me because it's relevant. You said earlier that Obama was actually scared in the operation when Hillary had her final PCB installed in her head and her arm. Her arm went bonanza. Yeah, all this stuff that we're getting from this guy is suspicious but interesting. Thank you for giving me that information. It's always good to track what's going on with biometrics. You're from Battle Cam and you're horny. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to, talk about your net worth. Good evening, everyone. No, you didn't start your own third party because mine trumped yours by 8 years. In fact, I trumped Trump. I've been way ahead of this thing, folks. I've been putting ideas out there for the past 8 years, and because the mainstream media has suppressed all information about me, but I'm a national word in Japan. Thank you very much, our Japanese guests. We are doing everything we can to stop the two-party hegemonic power. It's really one party. I've got plenty of focus, Beekman. This is Freedom Friday, and in this year alone, we've seen the Republicans repackage the Patriot Act, call it the Dream Act, the Freedom Act. The same thing, same act entirely as the Patriot Act. It's now called the Freedom Act. We've seen Donald Trump ignore the entire Tea Party movement, which is interesting considering it won 2 midterm elections for the Republicans. We've seen our government inspire revolutions around the world over the past 7 years with the incredible uprising in countries like Egypt and Yemen, Tunisia, Libya. We financed those uprisings, our government did. And if our government didn't, George Soros did. And he financed the Arab Spring. He finances the Occupy Wall Street. And now they're putting together a secret meeting. The Democrats are meeting in some secret location. I don't know where, but they're meeting with George Soros and other great big industrialists, people that want to make a lot of money. And they're pushing for cap and trade legislation. They're pushing for a carbon point legislation, which is going to tax you people. But most of all, they're planning an Occupy the Voting Booth plan. That's one of their plans, Occupy the Voting Booth. So they're literally working with big money guys like George Soros, who did finance the Ferguson riots, by the way. Those riots were not real. They were paid rioters. David, the asteroid that is going to pass by the Earth tomorrow was only discovered 10 days ago. If one is aimed at the Earth and there's nothing we can do, what do you plan to do as president to prevent such an occurrence in the future? Well, Beekman, I thank you for that. I appreciate your concern. I'm going to be working with nanotechnologists to develop a diamond-like cage around the United States to prevent anything from breaking anything. This technology was originally talked about in the book The Diamond Age. The technology will be probably operational by 2020. Whether we can make a force field big enough to withstand an asteroid, it's likely we could. These nanoparticles, we're going to be able to make diamonds in the air. using nanotechnology. Yeah, isn't that great? I don't want to mislead you, though, because in the meantime, they're going to try to get rid of 90% of the population between now and 2026. They're not breathable, no. This will be a complete dome over the United States. David in the sky with diamonds. That would be kind of a cool little rendition. We could do that. David in the sky with diamonds. David in the sky with diamonds. Yeah. You want to trip out? Hey, what's going on? No, I don't smoke during the show. I don't vape. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I just keep talk. That's what I do. I know, Beekman. Well, you know, there's a small little shelf the size of Spain off the coast of Portugal that if it drops into the ocean, and they say it could be a mudslide of massive proportions, it'll cause a Titanic tsunami. I do. I have pants on. You can't see them because they're black. No, lithium is not medication. Lithium is designed to make you stupid. It also affects your liver, and it's a Class D danger to pregnant women. So why are they spraying at the skies? Well, let's try to break out into another mentality here. We're just not breaking into another venue here. Let's do that. Okay. You feel better now? That was kind of cathartic, wasn't it? Don't bother looking up the word. I won't use it again, I'm sorry. So, what would you like to talk about tonight? My new speedboat with a 4-stroke engine, which I haven't purchased because I'm too cheap. No, I don't need new material. I'm working on new people in our show that are watching my old material. Is that okay? Do I need a permission on Freedom Friday to have new material or not new material? I mean, come on. Well, let's be clear. Are you slightly turned on by my boat? Whatever. The pot protagonist saying lithium makes us stupid. Excuse me, but there's no evidence pot makes you dumb. None whatsoever. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, I'm starting to freak out, Beekman. Freak out! Don't mind the name of the tune, just passing a vibe. Is that like passing gas? Passing a stool? I can get kicked off the internet for playing anything now. That is a great background, thank you. Do stop the music. You know, I would love to talk about Wayne Madsen's new evidence, Funkin' Junkie, but you haven't sent me a link, dude. Okay, we're talking about Wade Madsen's 9/11 symposium, new evidence of the boneyard, airplane boneyard in Marana, Arizona. Okay. Yep. All right, let's go there, folks. Take a look at Wayne Madsen's effort to reveal this.
He received some information from two individuals who he knew when he was working for the CIA about 9/11, and specifically a place in Arizona near Tucson called the Pinal Air Park, or the Marana Airfield.
Marana Airfield.
If any of you have ever driven by that on the interstate, you'll see massive First, you'll see, if you're coming from the west to the east, you see a lot of military planes out in the middle of the desert. Then you get to the civilian side, you see.
Okay, I'll play that later tonight. Hey, Sarah's here.
Hey, I'm here.
She's here. Great.
Finally.
Thank you.
With a big thing on my face.
Yeah, you don't need that there. Yeah, I'm anxious to find out more about Wayne Madsen's and the airfield that they found there, the Marana airfield, possibly storing airplanes that were used during 9/11. Very interesting. I definitely will listen to the 3.5 minute. So how was your day?
It was great.
You got your Halloween kind of thing going on?
Yes, because there was fall.
Cool.
Fall was in the air.
I found a new wig that looks more like it.
Oh.
And I went and got it, so I'll have another wig. So I'm going to do it.
We can both be Donald Trump tomorrow.
Well, yeah, maybe. We will have that. Thanks, Ron. We have a little glimpse of the video or the picture I was going to play. I was going to actually use this wig, but I liked it so much that I didn't want to taint it. This is one that I wore a couple weeks ago. I like this wig so much, and they said
it just looks good on you.
It looks so good on you, David. Let's not, I didn't want to move this wig around, so I got a Donald Trump wig today. It wasn't too expensive. I'm going to use this for the show because I think my hair should be longer, and I do keep it short normally just to save money on shampoo and conditioner. As you know, I am a cheapskate. It came out last night. The
Hello,
truth.
Beekman. It is kind of like a candy corn sweater, isn't it? I wear it all the time, right around Halloween. I tell everyone I'm a pumpkin.
Yeah, there you go. So we have some old block. Remember the old background? That was an old background, way back in the old days.
This night is Mischief Night, isn't it? Dia de los Muertos. Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. I don't worship false idols and, Santa Muerte, the dead, the saint of death. I don't, I'm not into that. That was kind of a cool old background we had in the old days. I revived it.
We got some candy for tomorrow.
Yeah, we have candy. We have Reese's peanut butter cups that are still pretty good. I think they were purchased at discount, though. Nice tie. Thank you, General Patton.
I think the clocks go back tomorrow. Is that right?
Tomorrow night, yeah. It was an epiphany for me. I couldn't believe it. It's like, oh, wow. It's amazing. We're going to gain an hour. It's amazing. You can't understand? What do you mean you can't understand you?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean you can't understand us?
Oh, when I said Dia de los Muertos, it's the day. La Dia is the Dia day. Day is of. Los is the. Muertos is dead. The Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead.
Oh, it's always fall back, spring ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how to remember what way to send the clock. So when you fall back, if you look at the clock and it's 6 o'clock and you're supposed to fall back, then you set it to 5 o'clock. If it's spring ahead and it's 5 o'clock and you're supposed to spring ahead to 6 o'clock. See?
I'm not I don't even know what you're talking about.
Thanks, Jen Patton.
But I do know that this show is not boring, so your name is offensive. Buenos dias. For all of our Mexican viewers, Latino viewers who are trying to someday gain U.S. citizenship, we have a plan called Fast Track Naturalization, where you can actually go to your home country and you'll be able to go to the U.S. Embassy there and take the 6-question test, and we'll even teach you English, history, and government. So included in the fee of hypothetically $1,000. $1,000. We'll be able to get a fast track chance for you to become a naturalized citizen.
That's pretty cool, Noble Watchman. You had an art studio.
It's too difficult to look at.
Whoa, freaky, Beekman, freaking me out.
It's too hard to look at.
I can't look at it.
Yeah, it hurts my eyes to look at it. That's what's wrong with that background. Well, I don't want Mexicans coming into the country either, illegally.
Didn't I tell you November 1st, shiny puffy coat? So I still have till Monday. It's not that shiny, but it is a little puffy.
You don't want to be in the U.S., thanks? Okay, that's cool.
Okay, stay away.
Stay away. Stay in your own home country.
Those people that don't want to be here, don't be here.
If you're wondering what the global climate modification going on behind me is, it's a storm brewing. Why would they want to do the fast track when they can stay illegally and still have the benefits? No, they won't have the benefits. I have a plan called Pay Americans First, and that's kind of leads me up to what I was talking about. Pay Americans First is a plan that I created that will prevent illegal aliens and non-U.S. citizens from getting money from our government. This is a plan that actually increases the revenue for our government to get out of debt and to help pay U.S. citizens. So Pay Americans First is the plan.
I don't know how to say break in Spanish. Do you need a break?
Oh yes, yeah, breako.
If you don't, that's okay.
And I do. I am going to take a coffee break.
Okay.
I was looking for my plan, but oh, here it is. Okay, let me just bring this thing down. This is the bumper sticker, by the way. If you want to buy it, it's available at our website, AmericasThirdParty.com.
Yes.
Okay. I'll be right back.
I have no idea what you're talking about, the fall. I know agoraphobia are people that fear going outside. When someone has egomania, they love themselves. Let's see. Narcissism, they really love themselves. I don't know. Alright. David cuts his own lawn and his own hair. No. Well, David cuts his own lawn. So David does all the kinds of great things to save money. He makes me meals. That saves money. Oh, narcissism requires a bond. That's funny. Your ex thought homophobic meant afraid to leave the house. Oh, because home? Oh, I get it. Hilarious, Funkin' Junkie. That's agoraphobic, but I know they don't know the word agora means outside. Oh, goodness. I don't want to explain that, Dr. Phil. I think I'm going to leave that one up to Google. It sounds like it, Funkin'. You found some Spanish milk at the market today? It said soy milk, like I am milk. That's so funny. Oh, really? You submitted the signatures to get David on the ticket there? Fantastic. What state are you in, Shiny Puffy Coat? The Secretary of State office called and confirmed it to you? Wow. What state is that? Connecticut? Fantastic. Alright, well, for that, I might go get my shiny puffy coat for you. That's great. Fantastic. Oh, that's true. Well, I have seen that too, the fall, and David and I have a theory on that, which is that, well, when David comes back, I'll get on my shiny puffy coat. Good. Alright, but I have to tell you, it's not that shiny, but it is puffy. I think it's puffy. What was I going to say? Oh, the fall. What David and I have a theory that people, that they have to have a big ego in order to make up for certain things they lack. Yeah, it does take you by surprise, but it does happen. I know, isn't this an awesome sweater? It totally, like, my mom got this for me. And I think she got it for me because, like, I like browns and things like that. And it totally, I mean, it kind of looks like a shiny puffy coat, right? Except it's not shiny. But, the thing about the sweater is it totally reminds me of Punky Brewster. Did you remember Punky Brewster? I think that's very cool. Yeah, it's very comfortable, actually. It's made of cotton. No, I don't think so. A horror sign? I'm not going to click on that one. Well, it's a sweater. I don't call it a jumper. It's a sweater. It's a turtleneck sweater. Okay. Sometimes it happens to fall. Alright, you think it's due to lack of empathy? Oh. I hadn't thought of that, the fall. I thought it was like due to the fact that they were picked on when young, so they like just put on this big thing because they were picked on, so it's like overcoming that. Oh, this sweater is so weird that I must have massive self-confidence and self-love. I do! You know, I love saying that. It's like, cool. I could just tell people that I like love myself just because I wear this sweater. Oh, that's hilarious. You know, people who wonder why they even bother waking up. Ah. Oh, who you wonder why. Oh, okay. There's good things in all people. I'm sorry, shiny puffy coat. It does suck to be bullied. It's true. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls pick them, every one. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone to soldiers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? All right. That's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. And I told David that I want that song sung at my wedding. So now, if he saves this recording, he could play it at my wedding. Not my wedding, my funeral. I want it sung at my funeral. And he can play it at my funeral in my own voice. Hooray! Alright, I'm glad you love that. You stopped singing in the 5th grade. You probably have an awesome voice. And you're like me and you like stop singing in the 5th grade. I kind of stopped singing for a while in the 5th grade because I thought I had a bad voice. But, you know, I started singing again. And some people like my voice. So, yeah. The Absurdity of the National Debt. Published 1947. You want me to sing that to you every night? I do love that song. I think I got something wrong though. I think it's gone to young men. I think the girls go to young men and then the young men go to soldiers. It just went, the girls went to the soldiers. No. Oh. Do kids knock on your doors every year on Halloween? The township sort of control suggests which areas kids can trick or treat due to the rise. Oh, yeah. So, yes, it's easier. It's better to do, I would say trick or treating 5:30 to 9. Maybe 6 to 10 where you are, but here 5:30 to 9. And here in our area, they have like our town has like a little, it's not actually Main Street because Main Street's in a different part of town, but it's like a historical district, I guess is the best way to describe it. And they've like revamped it and has like little stores there, and that's where they do their homecoming parade. And so they have homecoming parade, and also they have like a little thing down there where kids can come and trick or treat there. And then schools, local schools, they don't do Halloween, but they do a fall festival. So actually tonight, one of the schools, I was helping out at one of those, which is why I look like fall. Oh, yeah, that might happen. Do stop the music. White goldfish. Yeah, but normally I don't have a lot of kids knocking on my door on Halloween because I just live in a pretty quiet neighborhood. But like, how do I say this? Like, you have to go out to the street to go up to the driveway for each house. And that's like a lot of walking. Whereas, like, because our houses aren't like with a sidewalk and you just walk up to the door. There are places in the town that are like that. So there's a lot of people. Neighborhoods that get a lot of trick or treaters, but we're not one of them. Oh, you like a song with a story? Yeah. Take me home, country road. Can I sing Wish You Were Here? It's by the band Pink Floyd. I have no idea what the lyrics are, the real Dr. Phil. Yes, that's true too. Do stop the music. That's true. They've learned not to trick or treat here. I don't have any like decorations, like some houses have those like awesome decorations out, like booby traps and things. No, all my booby traps are real, so mine aren't like set up so like, yeah. Anyway, thank you Scissor Fight for the YouTube link for Peter, Paul, and Mary's version of Where Have All the Flowers Gone. Maybe I should listen to it and see if the young girls go to young men or something. Gone to brides or something. Oh, you've got the link. He's got the lyrics separately because he knows I can't play it because they'll track down on me. Gone for husbands, everyone. All the husbands gone for husbands, and then the husbands have gone for soldiers. I got almost all of it right. And I didn't sing the last lyric. Alright. But I got most of it, like, right. Yep, that's true. Real Dr. Phil. No. Oh, that is pretty cool. I will show that one to David. Ooh, that's a cool one too. Should I do that now? Let me save it. Save image as. Badoop, 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 badoop. Alright. Backgrounds. And I'm going to call this Galaxy Rotate. Alright, now let me bring that in. Add media file. Okay. Haji. I don't know if I will be able to do it because there we go. Alright, now let's move it down. There we go. Why did David do that to the picture? I don't know what I have here. Delete. Oh, delete. No. Delete! Delete. Delete. Okay, got that. Alright, I gotta come back to the chat. Fantastic. And another one if you want. The last one. Yes! Cool. Alright, let me get the other one that you've sent. Save image as. Backgrounds. And I'll call this Jiffy. Stars Jiffy. Jiffy stars. Save. Save. There we go. Alright, I saved both of those, Beekman, for you. Green Grass of Home is amazing. Sarah, not to be confused with John Denver's Country Home. It is a slow build-up worth listening to. Joan Baez version, you like that the most? Alright, sounds good. I don't know if I'll listen to it now. Green Grass of Home. Alright, I'll have to listen to it sometime. A Tunnel of Love, huh? Really? I'm not sure about that, the real Dr. Phil. That's okay. Okay. Well, he knows I'm in love with David, so it's all good. In love with David. Sure. Weren't you teaching, Beekman? I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen you. In Ohio? Right? But you don't like the Common Core? Am I on the right... I'm on the right track here? No, David has never dressed up like a bunny. He never went into teaching. Indiana, but you're... Oh, I'm so off. You were looking at it, right? You were thinking of going into school to do it, but you decided not to. So how have you been, Beekman? What have you been up to? Scary, spooky Halloween costumes from the early 20th century. And true to Deadhead, good. you did your student teaching, but you never took a full-time job. Yeah, student teaching, it almost wiped me out. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you were a pilot. Okay, I'm gonna do that green grass of home flake life. I'm gonna save it. Oh, this video contains contents from John Paulstein production. It is not available in your country. Okay, I'll have to do that some other time. Oh, you know what? I did not have a positive student teaching experience either. No. And so what I did in order to get... Anyway, I ended up... Now I'm good. Let's just say that. But so you're a pilot. You fly a private jet. That's fun. It can be. I totally understand, Bigman. I'm so sorry. Yeah. If I didn't have the patience that I have and the determination to be like, it's like I've gone through, for me it was a 3-year program beyond my associate's degree. And so it was like, in student teaching is like the last 6 months, and I totally would not, if it were the first 6 months and that was the experience, I don't think I would have stuck with it. And you know what? I don't like the whole idea of, I have a similar situation actually. I don't like disciplining. I found this this new thing I'm looking at, and it's called PBIS, or Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. And the whole idea behind this positive behavior is like the new idea to, instead of punishing kids, is like you need to give kids positive reinforcement. I mean, how would you like to be like yelled at, oh, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right? Nobody likes to be told that. So why don't you take time and say, hey, nice job. You're doing a fantastic job, becoming a pilot. You're doing a fantastic job following directions. You're doing a great job getting out of bed every day and taking a shower and coming into our show. Fantastic job. Yeah. Thank you very much for doing that.
Good job, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, So anyway, I noticed that I'm all about, and listen, kids are like little people. I was talking to a colleague, and it's not about false praise. It's about saying, yes, it's about, here's the thing. How often do we acknowledge what people are doing right in the world? Not often enough. And it's not about false praise. I personally believe it's not about false praise at all. I believe it's about honoring people that are doing the correct thing. And yes, always praise in public and correct in private. Yeah, it's true. So true. Almost funny. And when you correct, it's best to question the person. Like, is there anything that you think you could be doing better at? And if you at least do that, you might come up with certain things that you didn't even realize they were doing wrong. And the other would be that seeing that they're more open to corrective feedback. Sure, I'll see what you're going to be dressing up for Halloween. You think we need a new organization organizer? I need to get organized. Teachers are wrong anyway. I disagree. I mean, I think there might be some teachers that are wrong, but for the most part, teachers are doing a really good job with the skill set that they have and with all of the things that they have. And it's true, Beekman's right. There's a lot of, sometimes there's students that come into the classroom that need discipline, And discipline is really being taught to do the right thing. There's a lot of kids that do need discipline, so not enough time can be spent on like teaching. All right, Beekman, let's check this out. Ooh, that is kind of cool. All right, I'll save that one too. And I don't know what I'll call it. I'll just call it Starfield. Save. This is what you're going to be looking like. You bought everything you need.
Okay.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Wow, torn
up face.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's amazing.
That's good. Yeah, that's really very close to Walking Dead. Ooh, I like this background.
Yeah, Beekman brought it in.
Thank you, Beekman. That's really nice. Subtle. I like that.
Dr. Phil Ammett. Oh, filled. Oh, I get it. Filled.
And we've got another one from Scissor Fight. Let's see. We got competitive links here. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's so cute. You know, I raised black labs for a while. And all labs matter. This is so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just because you're an American Caucasian and you're fighting for your right to be heard, don't feel bad. You know, we're all.
I believe that all life is precious.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
For the most part.
No, black labs are incredibly tame and they learn really well commands. They're one of the most adept at learning commands of any animal. The black labs are. What are we looking at? That's freaky, dude. The fall. Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. What's your deal?
You took some picture of yourself or something and you blacked out your face? I don't know.
Yeah. If I had a choice of dogs to have, though, I would get the Border Collie, the most intelligent of all the animals. But Sarah and I are not that into dogs. We're not dog people.
I might get a turtle.
Oh,
I think.
Really? That's cool. That'll be fun. Are they? You know, the snapping turtles. They really are dangerous. You know, the small ones, the ones they sell at the stores.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they bite. Yeah. I'm 6'4". No, I'm 6'4". Yeah, apparently you're a bad person here. I'm going to give you one warning, and if you don't straighten your act out, I'm going to have to ban you, I guess. You know, maybe we should reactivate, activate it on, yeah. Okay, we'll do that. That's a little easier than doing the other. Yep, they can be taught to retrieve a thrown stone from underwater. Bum organizer. He's shell shock, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Why do I get the impression this is my brain for some reason? I'm starting to feel...
Your brain is kind of organized like that.
Well, no, I'm beginning to believe that, you know, the brain is kind of a microcosm of space. I looked at a photograph of both, and they're very similar. So I heard you in the other room singing. That's great.
Yeah, you heard me singing?
Yeah, Kumbaya, my lord.
I wasn't singing Kumbaya. I was singing Where Have All the Flowers Gone?
Where have all... No, I don't want to sing it again. The flowers gone. It was a very good show. Hey, folks, if you're not one of the rich, you wouldn't understand what it feels like for them to laugh at you and know that they can manipulate you. So you wouldn't know what it feels like to be them. So I'm telling you that our only chance of being, you know, anything in terms of powerful as a group is to do this together. We can't expect to get our country back on track if we leave it to the rich people, because the rich people really don't care about you. Was that Michael Jackson song? They really don't care about us.
All I've got to say is they don't really care about us. That's Michael Jackson. All right, I'm gonna head on out.
Wow, look at this clip from Scissor Fight.
Wow, that is a good one.
Dunkin' Donuts CEO says $15 an hour is outrageous.
Meanwhile, he makes $4,889 an hour.
Yeah. Unreal. Wow. Hiding behind those glasses. Thanks, Sarah, for being our great entertainer tonight. Fantastic entertainer. She's great. And this is as good as a polka party. Have you guys been to polka parties? Or have you been to a polka? I had the luxury of going to a polka once in New York. It's quite an amazing experience. Okay, so can't really see my tag up there. Let me move that forward. Okay, here we go. Oh, you have polka parties still in Erie? No kidding. I had a lot of fun on a polka party I went to in New York. It was kind of fun. Only once to a polka party? Yeah. I've only been to a couple of gatherings for the Sons of Norway too. Sarah tried to get me to a Daughters of Norway event recently here, because we've got a lot of Norwegians in this area, but I didn't go. I like to see myself as an American. I identify my culture as American. I was raised in America without an overly cultural backed environment. I didn't really, speak Norwegian in my home. My dad, he understood a little Norwegian. And it was often funny when he tried to speak Norwegian with people who were from Norway. They would laugh at him because he just never got a real. So I'm 2 generations away from anybody that even spoke the language from my heritage. And that's true probably for a lot of you people. You don't necessarily know your roots. I know my roots. You're an activated chatter. Yes, you are, Potato Girl, and that makes you special. You're special tonight. Maybe I'll bring my imaginary boat that I don't want to buy because it's too expensive. I keep looking at really cool boats out there and I can't seem to find them. Less than $2,000. Plus the motor is going to be $1,000, so it's like, it's not worth it. All right, so we have a couple of things to talk about here tonight on Freedom Friday, obviously. But I'm getting a little sick here, so I'm going to have to stop the animated background. It's getting me a little dizzy. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pass. There's a clip of a guy who passed out on Glenn Beck. I don't want to make fun of people that pass out, so I'm not gonna play it for you. Oh yeah, we forgot about the Pay Americans First. I have people I know with boats. I don't want to go in the ocean. I want a boat, but I don't want to go in the ocean. People are getting a little bit weird that way. They don't want to be in the radiated waters. It's no longer what it used to be. It used to be kind of cool. You could just go out and hang out in the Pacific Ocean. Honestly, I've not walked on the ocean in 1 year. Can you imagine? 1 year I haven't even walked on the ocean. Now, I normally don't walk on water, but the ocean's a little thicker than regular water. So you can walk, if you believe that, you'll believe anything. I think I'd rather have Christopher Walken behind me. You've never seen an ocean, but I know what you mean. So you don't mind not having an ocean near you? I'm okay with living on the East Coast, but I'm on the West Coast. And it makes me a little skittish to know that water out there is perhaps radiated from Fukushima. And I think we should talk about that. I think the time has come to talk about Fukushima. Would you like to talk about Fukushima and the radiated water? I normally save it for the fun time in the show. But I don't know. It might be fun to just watch something different. Fukushima. that what you're about to see is strictly an animation. It's not real. It's an artistic rendition of what could have happened during that time. Let's take a boat trip, shall we? I'm going to take my magic boat, get it on the water, and go tripping along in the bath of radiation. Ah, yes. The sweet taste of cesium-137, or uranium-237. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be talking about Fukushima now. All right, good. That was Christopher Walken, by the way. Yes. Pretty cool. He is a guy who now has retained a defense attorney in case any charges are brought against him for the Natalie Wood death. Many people are still a little unsure about the Natalie Wood death, right? Bingo. Bingo. Yes. Okay, so I have not been out on the ocean in over a year. I don't really feel comfortable walking out there. I did do a check for radiation up here where I am, and the radiation was about 1/10 of what it was along the California coastline. So I guess Fukushima is on the same latitudinal meridian as California. So if the Earth is moving in a direct path, and as you know, it is moving. And for those false beliefs that the flat Earth people, if you really believe that's flat, I mean, come on, seriously. So the Earth is actually at that level will actually slam California, and as you can see, California is a little bit closer to Japan. That's right. So I wouldn't go down to California anymore, even though I know it's beautiful. I loved California. I was a resident for 35 years. I want to fix this problem so that I can someday go to the beach in California. I want to be able to someday say, yes, David, I think we've neutralized the real core issue, which is the Fukushima plant leaking at an alarming rate, which is disturbing beyond belief that we as a government, our government has not done anything to help or assist or even talk about this. And it's never even entered the dialogue. This is reactor number 4, the worst reactor in the entire series of 6 reactors. There is an area where the arrow is pointing that has 1,200 spent fuel rods. Many of them are comprised of plutonium, uranium, cesium. And all of these fuel rods are in jeopardy of melting down into the unit from where they are located. So TEPCO's done a little bit of work with a crane. You can see pictures from different angles. But this is a mess. This cannot be fixed. We'll never pull those out of there. It's impossible to get close with even robots. The lithium batteries burn up. So what we want to do is fix the problem, not just talk about it. So I came up with a little animation I did on Google SketchUp, where you take pictures and put them together. And I put together this idea, which is a simple idea, really. It's about digging a large trench around the outside of the wall, or where the water is going down the hill. There's a 5% grade here. So what I was hoping to do is, using robotic tractors, we could work with Japan and Shinzo Abe to ultimately have a trench dug around all of the reactors, which would include the extent all the way around. So as we dig, we will use the dirt from the trench to put into the mountain, and we will cover that reactor. This is going to be a complete enclosure, capping whatever radiation that's down there, down in the ground. We can create access points, like tubular walkways to get in here. We can lay pipe, okay? And that means we can get into the area in question as we cover it up. But we'll also have to cap those pipes off at various points. But these pipes could very well be radiators that could actually work with the heat and work with the water and work with the hydrogen and oxygen molecules that are now part of the corium, which is a water-based slough of radiated material. And we can build a fast breeder reactor right in that location that will provide immediate solutions to the terrible leaking that's going on here. All right, so let's take a look here at what we've got. Continue on. So as we look around the building, we'd be building more than one mound, like 4 or 5 mounds. But ultimately, we want to cap the end of this jetty with the USS Forrestal. I say that because the USS Forrestal is still in an area we could actually move it. They're breaking it down. It's still floating. I checked the other day. And the USS Forrestal is the perfect size. And we've already decommissioned this and sitting in Galveston, Texas. We sold it for a penny. We'll just nullify the contract and repossess the item. And then we move it up using tugboats all the way up to the Fukushima area, plugging the outlet with that particular aircraft carrier. The USS Forrestal was famous in the 1960s, the Vietnam War. And as you know, it literally is costing this country a lot of money. We're actually paying the salvage yard $2 billion to get rid of it. I know, $2 billion, where I could take and tow it to Fukushima for $200,000 in towing fees. All right, I have one more picture to show you, and that's the actually size comparison. And I actually sent this picture to the director of IAEA, the Atomic Energy Experts, International Experts. I sent it to his office, whether he, bothered to care or not. It's almost as though they don't even care whether there's radiation blowing into the ocean. But yeah, that would plug it perfectly. It's 1,250 feet long, and if there was any need for wet concrete sets, we'd be able to drop it in there and plug that hole, stop that flow. That's the essential thing. If we don't, we're screwed. Because this is an extinction level event. It's a good plan. If it's a radioactive volcano, at least it's capped. Okay. If it condenses and decides to burst out, but that's why I'd put the 2 corridors in the base of it. Now this is completely in tandem with the idea they have of turning the ground into a freezer. The trench I was describing is an add-on to the exterior of that area they're turning into a freezer. They're freezing the ground to stop the water from moving. It's a good idea. But yeah, they're trying to prevent the China syndrome from happening. It's already, reactor number 1 and 3 have already gone into the ground. Whatever was in there is gone. So the groundwater is completely and utterly contaminated. But that doesn't mean we can't process whatever flows downhill. Now you can take a toxin and isolate it and get its drain point and pick up its drain point and begin to clean it. But as far as digging, excavating, forget it. Not going to happen. There's no way we're going to be able to dig or excavate that entire location. It's serious. And it's extremely radiated. So since the president hasn't talked about this, and since I am obviously running for president, I'm one of the only candidates that's talking about this. It makes it for a good talking point for our show, I think. But the whole coastline, we're seeing death. And I didn't want to have to bring up Fukushima, every night, but I normally don't. But we're seeing death along the coastline, all the way up to British Columbia and all the way down. Kind of let's just call it a red mark of death. Animals, 14,000 marine mammals have shown up on the floor of the intertidal zones, and 14,000 little creatures have died. All right, isn't that exciting? Okay, we got that done with. Now we can move on, because it gets pretty disturbing when you talk about, Fukushima. Okay, I'm going to turn guest chat on now. See if we have any nice guest chatters who'd like to share. And we'll see if chat is moving along. The theme today is freedom. Freedom for us to get out of the matrix. Freedom for you to disconnect, unplug from the world you're living in. Free to live a full life without having to be enslaved by your job. Freedom to buy a nice, fast speedboat with a 4-cylinder engine. They get good gas mileage too, those four-stroke engines. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you're free to do everything you can within your own, module, where you are allowed to breathe and consume fluid, and defecate and urinate. Beyond that, it's all in the matrix. So, we're back talking about fun stuff. It's time to talk about false flags. Guest 5240 says it's time to talk about false flags, Dave. Okay. 16-stroke 4-valve engines. Thank you. Yeah, I knew I had something wrong there. You must be a mechanic. I hear you, buddy. Yeah, I got a little mechanic in me too myself. I like to fix stuff. I'd like to fix the universe if I could. Yeah, let's start with getting rid of the banksters that own the government. Okay, that's a good start. Very good start, but having a president that's not owned by them, that would be nice. The problem with the past presidents is they're owned. You know that Barack Obama, when he declares sending troops into Syria, which many of you Democrats are going, honey, I'm beginning to think the Republicans are right. I didn't want to say that, honey, but I'm beginning to think they're right about Obama. Are you embarrassed yet? Tesla is cool, yeah. But his name is not Tesla. He's dead. Tesla died, but the company is cool. Is that what you're saying? Let's take a look here. Fun. Okay, a lot of people are, many times we talk about false flags, we have to bring up, obviously, Sandy Hook. It would be wrong for me not to talk about Sandy Hook, but one of the theories that's out there is that Adam really is his brother. He changed his name to Ryan Lanza. That's why they found a Ryan Lanza driver's license at the Adam Lanza residence. Fredno Mundo. So that's a significant piece of information. And there is no evidence that Nancy Lanza actually had two sons. And the father won't even come clean on the whole thing. He won't even talk to the press. Okay, Iceland did the right thing and put them in jail. Yes, you're right. Guess 212. The bankers were definitely arrested in Iceland. They got like 75 years. And I understand that thank you. Let's not divert to false flags right yet. Let's talk about the economy a little bit. Okay, I get that. I have the president of Iceland here who can talk to you about what they did in Iceland. We need to do that here. I agree. If we haven't done it yet, and we haven't, we need to do it. Here's President Olafur Grimsson.
There are, of course, many reasons why Iceland has recovered earlier and more effectively than any other European economy that suffered from the financial crisis. But there are two fundamental dimensions to how we did it differently from others. The first is that we did not follow the prevailing orthodoxies of the Western financial world, the so-called Washington Consensus of the last 30 years. We, for example, let the private banks fail. And I have never understood why the banks are somehow treated like the holy churches of the modern economies and are not allowed to fail. Secondly, we did not introduce the similar kind of austerity measures that have been almost mandatory in many other countries. We tried to protect the health service, the educational service, the welfare of those with the least income in our country. We introduced capital controls, and we let the currency devalue. And we did many other things that were not deemed to be orthodox within the prevailing recommendations in the last 30 years. But the second dimension is that we were fortunate somehow to realize early on that this was not just a financial crisis. This was also, for the first time in modern memory, a profound political, democratic, social, and even a judicial crisis. And unless you introduced reforms on all these levels, as well as the right economic policies, you would never be able to galvanize the nation to move forward. And many people tend to forget that an economy is not just a set of associations between financial institutions and companies and so on. An economy is fundamentally a community of people. And unless the people feel confident and have a vision and the will to move forward, it doesn't matter what kind of policies you try to implement, you will never be able to succeed. And these two dimensions are, in my opinion, one of the reasons why, despite there are still difficulties, of course, why Iceland is now in a better position than anybody, including us, could have expected 4 or 5 years ago.
Good. Yes, thank you. That was an interesting piece, very interesting. I wanted to share that with you because Iceland is the only country that actually stood up to the bankers, the banksters. Yeah. What happened to the big hurricane Patricia? Was it all fake? Actually, it was. It had a false flag component to it. The NOAA and NASA shut down all public channels for 3 days during the hurricane. They shut down anyone watching any of the sites, analyzing weather patterns. And then they announced this big hurricane all of a sudden. So yeah, it was a fake hurricane story. But it did have a hurricane component to it, but it wasn't nearly like they were describing it. They're trying to paint a picture that the global climate change is happening while they're modifying it. They're actually modifying the weather as we speak. They do it every day. Every day you see chemical trails in the air. That's what they're doing. So the American people are kind of slowly waking up to the lies and the deceit that have been put in front of them over the past, I'm going to say 20 years, because that's how long this has been going on. And systematically, our rights are being taken away. When Obama signed NDAA into law in 2012 and 2014, he actually suspended the Posse Comitatus Act, which prevented our army from actually being used against its own people. So now our army can be used against its own people. Big changes like that have happened under this administration and under the Bush administration. And they're just getting all their ducks in line to implement a plan, a strategy, which ultimately was done in Germany in the 1930s, where they depopulated. So their strategy really is a totalitarian dictatorship, police state, and their end game is to turn all of us into victims, criminals. They'll make us a criminal if we aren't one already. In their eyes, everybody will be criminals. That's what we have to fear. And the only way we're going to stop it is to build a political movement that will stop it. That's the key thing. If we don't have a political movement behind what we're talking about, you'll notice if you listen to Alex Jones, he doesn't have a political movement. Well, because he's controlled opposition. He's what they put out there to pretend like that you have choice, or that you know what's going on, or that, wow, you really tuned into the truth there. They don't want you to know that, I doubt he's going to tell you that Jade Helm is a psyops produced by an artificial intelligent computer called Jade 2.0. Now, as I say these words, Jade 2.0 is listening to what I'm saying. It is interpreting my words and can see me right now because it watches everything. And believe it or not, artificial intelligence has reached that incredible turning point where it is actually making things happen in government. Jade Helm was a psyops, and it was an implementation plan put together by artificial intelligence. You won't get Alex Jones to talk about that, because that's too close to the truth. You can do whatever you want, but believe me, Syria is not the bad guy at this point. The U.S. is initiating a conflict, and they're going to ramp up the conflict against Russia, and this is all by design. Now, I've done the anti-war rally for every Saturday for the past year and a half, hoping we wouldn't get to this point where we're sending troops in. But obviously, there's only so much I can do talking about it. Now the EU is agreeing to a fascistic TTIP policy with American regulators so corporations can own all of us, both sides of the pond. That's right. So true. And TPP here in the US is also a plan to initiate censorship on all copyright violations that they deem are happening, whether they're real copyright violations or not. Google will now have an iron fist on what gets played in front of you. So I'm doing this myself. I make hard copies of a lot of videos that we bookmark and on our playlist on Google, because I'm not so sure how long those videos are going to be out there. And we're starting to shift to other networks for storing videos. Like, obviously, live video is good. Others are out there now to start to alternative networks. So the more video storage abilities are out there, YouTube will become less important, and we'll be able to beat their censorship again by opening up the internet. As they close it, we open it. And that's a plan that actually works and is at the very heart of the design of the internet. As it was designed to exist despite shutdown, it's also designed to exist in lieu of shutdown. It was originally a backbone for physicists to communicate in the event of lack of communication on the planet. But it evolved into this wonderful tool for all of us to share. And as we share ideas and you find out these things that I just told you, knowledge is power, and you folks are waking up. And they don't want that. The last thing they want is for you to wake up. They don't want you to know anything. They want everything to be kind of whatever the talking points are in the mainstream media, that's what they want you to be thinking about. Whether Lamar Odom was put in the hospital by the Kardashians, or whether the Kardashians helped him get out of the hospital. That's about all you really need to know. And that's what they keep feeding you. I can't see what you wrote. You want to rewrite it in just like simple block letters? Guest 854. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be the Halloween show. I'll be dressed up as Donald. Sarah's going to go as Melania. Or maybe a blonde version of Melania. Maybe she'll just be a guest from outer space. Who knows? Wow. Planetary homicide. I like that. That's a cool link. Thanks, Noble Watchman. Yeah, it's a cool link because it talks all about the devastation. Yeah, if I play more of that, like 4 more beats, actually they'll kick me off YouTube. Seriously. That's Zombie. Clark Kerncraft 400, Zombie Nation. Okay, well, I'll check my Facebook a little later. I don't do that during the show, 5240. I've been starting up my Facebook again after a long time of being away from it, and I will check my Facebook tonight. I wrote a response to Doobster's response about what's happening in the country and how these people are just absolutely insane, owned by the Federal Reserve. The World Bank is controlling our entire future, starting wars, and he really clarified everything in this statement he put on our Facebook account at America's Third Party. So I responded with a little blurb, but nothing compared to what he wrote. He really put a lot of thought and energy into it. Well written. Yeah, thank you. Not that I didn't, but anyway. Hey, some of you are former Democrats like me who literally are leaving the Democratic Party because of the lies and the corporate connections to Wall Street and the 1%er Hillary and all her gamesmanship that she's playing. Many of you are Republicans who would never have voted for Obama and can't understand how anyone could. and also don't believe that global warming is happening or global climate change is happening. Well, in a way, you're right. Global climate change isn't really happening. They are literally attacking our environment. It's global modification. But it is definitely heading toward planetary homicide between 2023 and 2031, which converges with a plan that the elitists have of depopulating 90% of the planet. 95% of the planet, 90% of the planet. The reason why you've been hearing in news stories about how their population is such a big problem, global warming is such a problem, is because they're using the propaganda tool of the media to make it seem like, oh, the sky is falling. It's happening all at once. Bill Cooper was right, and he was right about everything. They'll even tell you that they're reptilians and they're lizard people running the country, just to keep you thinking that everybody who asks questions is a wacko. I don't believe in aliens. I still have not been convinced of aliens' existence. I'm not here to tell you that aliens are the problem. I'm here to tell you that they're literally killing the planet. That's the news item. That's the real news item. These warnings are really intense. Man, this is one heck of a website. I'm just enlarging it, little pieces of it. Arctic methane, Clathrate gun fires in 2011, erupting, thickening methane, global warming. Worst case scenario, this is amazing. What a chart. Well, you really discovered a good one, Noble Watchman. Thank you. I'll give you guys the link back if you guys want to look at that for the rest of your life. Wow. Well, this definitely is concerning me because this depopulation plan has been on my topic almost every night since we started our shows in the past, I'd say 3 or 4 years. We're starting to talk about depopulation more and more because it is their agenda. It's Agenda 21. And it started with biodiversity plans through the UN back in the 1980s. At first they were wondering, well, what would happen if this happened across the entire West Coast? And then they got together projections of population deaths, losses, etc. And then it evolved into an actual plan to make that happen. Somewhere in the dark recesses of the Luciferian agency we know as the UN. And they are run by Luciferians, if you didn't know. I'm not trying to freak you out here, but I think every night we should talk about this. The Lucis Trust is one of the key agencies that spends a lot of time and energy setting up meetings for the UN, publications for the UN. They are a roster level group. Lucis Trust actually has a website where they actually talk about their namesake, Lucifer. The esoteric meaning of Lucifer. And here's the site if you want to link to it. Check it out. It actually talks about the original name and how it's related to Lucifer. So this is a roster level organization, the Lucis Trust. They are part of the union. The UN is essentially being run and operated by people that believe in Satan. I mean, I never thought this was happening until I actually looked a little deeper and found, wow, this is true. If you go Google Lucis Trust, you'll see the UN written all over it. Just Google the words UN and Lucis Trust. I'll gladly do it for you, but I'd rather just move on. So you want to talk about false flags tonight? I know, man. I tell you, devil worshippers taking over, I tell you. So when they put together a plan to lie to the American people, whether it's Hurricane Patricia, or they even plan a hurricane, like I believe Hurricane Sandy was planned. It's the only hurricane that made a left turn into ongoing prevailing winds in the entire history of hurricanes in that region. Hurricane Sandy, right before the election of 2012, a devastation that caused the East Coast. It was extremely unusual, and it never before seen a Hurricane Sandy in the history of hurricanes in that region. Yeah, so you're seeing very interesting little. Here's a spaghetti map of the Hurricane Sandy thing right before the event. This literally convinced people that Barack Obama was handling weather crisis very well, and pushed a lot of people to vote for him. Many people believe that this possibly was engineered. So normally the hurricanes in this region kind of go up the coast. Most of them go up the coast and never make a left turn. I don't know, you can call it whatever. It's definitely related to HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which has numerous stations now that use electromagnetic waves and frequencies to create harmonic patterns, linking with the stuff they're spraying in the atmosphere, which is the chemtrail activity. Now, I walked into this entire political venue in 2008 not believing in the idea of chemtrails, not believing necessarily in a problem with the Illuminati, not believing that there was any serious plan to get rid of 90% of the population. And after 7 years of broadcasting and going through link by link and spending 5-6 hours a night researching, I'm absolutely convinced that yes, they're engaged in depopulation. They're setting everything up for that goal. And we only have a little bit of time to build this third party and stop them by using our political means to do it. It's a simple plan. I do believe they are using serious chemtrails in the sky. Even the NASA has admitted this openly. There's stories all over the place to validate this. NASA has been doing dumps in the air of lithium and other ingredients that are Class D birth defects are a result of lithium. I said that earlier. It's got to stop, man. And the only way we're going to stop it is if we can build this political movement and take on the two-party system. Boom. That's it. David, if you were a threat, they wouldn't let you broadcast, period. No, that's not the case. Actually, I'm not a threat, and they can't really control what I'm doing. You see, they have the ability to limit the hit counter on YouTube, which they've done. They froze our hit counter in 2011. It's like locked in at a certain level. And they also have the ability to limit our access across the globe in terms of and no mainstream media attention whatsoever. They've managed to do that. And that's significant. And they've kept a third party from even entering the political dialogue over the past 7 years. And we've used the blogosphere to elevate the word of mouth to counter that. And I put together the plan. Many people said, David, you shouldn't do the blackface video. I did the blackface video because it's the only thing I knew would actually work. I could think of nothing else that would work. And I took a hit from a lot of people calling me outrageous, a bad judgment, blah, blah, blah. I still contend it is a dividing line. If you do not understand the importance of using your free speech to its fullest, and the blackface video does just that. Impersonating the president is my right, and I was never intending to cause it to be a racial problem at all. But by simply doing this in 2008, I created an instantaneous international event. And the people in the government, our government that censor the media, censor the mainstream media and all the feeds that the networks have, they can't do anything to stop this. You see? It was the only thing I could do. And then I set up a website at David John Sponheim YouTube site, where you can actually check out my newest ones in 2014. Using my freedom of speech, I am breaking through the censorship. There's nothing they can do to stop it. They have a country right now with America that defends freedom of speech. If I didn't do this right now, and I did it 3 years from now, I might not have been able to do it. Because 3 years from now, they're probably going to put in some sort of legislation that'll prevent anyone from doing anything that wouldn't be considered politically correct. That's if they win. But I don't believe they're going to win. I believe the American people are turning around slowly and realizing we don't want a greater police state. We don't want a dictator. We want a nice, benevolent president who can deal with the problems facing the country and build jobs. Not overseas jobs like Barack Obama's done with his job czar Jeffrey Immelt from GE. He didn't do anything for jobs. You've been 9 months without a video? Wow. Too bad. So we have a plan to actually I'm keeping nothing on there besides the blackface videos simply for that reason. Those are the videos you need to click on. They say it all. They talk about the future of our country, and they are still very relevant. I have America's Third Party. We have a new video every night. If you go to our YouTube site there, you just have to go to AmericasThirdParty.com and you'll see our show from last night. That's all you have to do. It plays every single day from our YouTube hub at America's Third Party. I didn't do the blackface thing through AmericasThirdParty.com because Sarah doesn't approve of it. Period. That's it. You know, she just doesn't want to be a part of anything like that. I don't blame her. I get her concerns. But you'll see our videos every single night there. And you'll go back 400 videos and you'll see that I was getting 20,000 hits a week in 2011. And it went down to 20. Right around the time they started the censorship. Right around 2011. Okay, we got a video for our after show, Beekman. Thank you. 10 places Google Earth is hiding from you. Ooh, that does sound good. That's a very good idea. Cool. I'll put that out there. Yeah, so I don't make a big deal of pushing the blackface video on our show, but I want you to know that it is a benchmark moment for me to actually use freedom of speech. And freedom of speech, freedom, is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. Seriously, you can't just assume you're free in this world. Now, what we're seeing now is an enlargement of the war that we didn't expect Obama to do, but many of you didn't realize the truth about Obama, that he's simply a puppet for the New World Order. And they want to take down Syria, they want to take down Iran, they want to take down everybody they can. And they're using our troops to do it. So he's sending special operations forces in to help fight ISIS, which means he's probably going to initiate a war against Russia. Even though Russia claims to fight ISIS, we all know that ISIS is being funded indirectly from the CIA, and that's not good. They've got a very duplicitous policy that's going to cost our nation in the long run. We don't need to be there. There's no rational justification for us to be sending troops into Syria. There is an economic purpose to take down Syria, and it came out of a book written by Zbigniew Brzezinski 40 years ago. And believe it or not, that's probably what they're still following. The plan to create a pipeline through Syria. You can call it ignorant. It's actually quite intelligent. And I'm going to purge you for that because I don't believe you understand the meaning of freedom of speech. Many of you who don't understand that if you don't exert yourself and impersonate this horrible president we've had for 7 years who does everything wrong, you'll never have an epiphany. You'll never wake up to the fact that Democrats are trying to stop your freedom of speech. They're trying to take your rights to bear arms. They're trying to subtract all of our Bill of Rights. This should be a wake-up call for you. Seriously. I'm sorry, I had to clear the air here. Wasn't that a wake-up call? Yeah, Space Kitty, freaking out. You know, the president doesn't have to be almost a figurehead thingy, guess 781. The president can be an active, proactive person working from the White House with total protection. I'm serious. If I get to the White House, I'm not going to be traveling anywhere. You have any idea the danger I'm in even talking about the subject I talk about every night, which is freedom? So when I make it to the White House, we're going to be running operations out of the White House, and I'll be working directly with people who are in the field communicating with me on a daily basis, not like Obama's czars, which never even check back. Once they got their commission, they were out of there. I will actually have daily communication with about 20 different supervisors on every level to get this country running right. We've got people who are going to be working on our homestead renewal plan to fix the country, to get jobs in houses that are fixed up. Basically, we're going to take all the houses that we can find, blocks of them, and reinvest a little money and fix them all up and flip them. So the government, in my plan, could actually, through HUD, flip houses. And we'll be developing a low-cost solar panels that made by our government, $1 per watt. These are the plans that I'll be implementing. And I don't need congressional approval to do this. We can actually work directly. As Commander-in-Chief, I can work directly with the military to reinvest a little bit of money that's currently in the Superfund for the VA and build mobile medical units. The housing can be handled through HUD, which is a part of the government that the president can oversee, housing and urban development. I can assign where the money goes. So I have the tools I need to initiate these two big plans. And the mobile medical system will be implemented through the VA because as Commander-in-Chief, I'll have the ability to handle the purse strings of the Veterans Administration. All right. Veterans will get free care, but anybody who doesn't have who isn't a veteran would pay a copay of like $30 to get a basic checkup. Well, if it was not politically correct, then great, because I'm politically direct. I never said I was politically correct. But I'm not like Donald Trump, and I would never, ever tell Muslims that they need to be deported from our country if they're U.S. citizens. I believe in freedom of religion and freedom of speech. I think he's lost his way. And when he wants to deport people, he wants to turn our nation into more of a police state, just like Hillary. He's not in any way different than Hillary that way. They both want a police state. Now, these are programs that I can implement immediately as president. I don't need the support of anybody. In fact, another big boost to the economy is legalization of marijuana. I've got that going for me, too. This plan actually has the support of most of the people in the country. 58% want to legalize marijuana across the board. And we can create hempoline, which our big rig diesel truck drivers will like because it'll reduce the cost of their gas, their fuel. And if they don't like it, that's fine too. It might grow on them. It doesn't matter. We're going to be running our vehicles initially on them, on the hempoline. Whenever we go work with the grass growing on the freeways, we'll be growing hemp instead. And it'll grow up about 3 feet, and we'll go in and use the same tractors we grab the grass with and pull all the hemp in. But instead of like sticking it in a pile and letting it rot, the hemp goes into a hempoline melter, which then creates liquid hemp oil, which is then converted into biofuels. A green diesel will be produced out of this. So all of that will also spawn new growth in our private sector, people growing medicinals and edibles. And like, look at Colorado. They're actually paying money back in their state tax return now. All the Colorado people that are living there are getting money back from taxes that came in from marijuana revenue. So yeah, it's a big fix for our economy, and its time has come. Justin Trudeau, the new Prime Minister of Canada, has stated this same thing, that he wants to get legalization of recreational use marijuana, and he's also planning on pulling his troops out of Syria and Turkey right now. So it's interesting, Canada's backing away from this plan that Obama has, and I'm sure Hillary has the same thing. Not humpoline, no, hempoline. You got humping on your mind. That's because it's Friday night, man. It's part of your genetic makeup to want to do that. You are by nature horny, you humans. On Friday night, no less, Mr. Anderson, the thought of sex to me is irrelevant, Mr. Anderson. Whatever. Bottom line is Trudeau's making the right decision. We don't need to be in another. What is wrong with this country that wants to start more wars? We're going to have a good show tomorrow with a Halloween special. Me impersonating Donald Trump. And we're going to be talking about why they want to start wars. I mean, it's crazy. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, I mean, you'd think we'd learn, but we've never taken any time to check what we're doing, to monitor and to appraise. The biggest problem with our nation is we don't monitor what we do and what we've done. That's why we have big government. That's why we've got incompetent fools running our nation. And that's why I'm sitting here in my den talking to you on a camera, because I can. If I was in Red China right now, they'd probably arrest me for just speaking. You notice you don't see a lot of free speech out there. That's why we have to really value what we have here and use the best of it. I support this government. I want it to be better. I want to change it for the better. I certainly don't want anything bad to happen to it, but if we've got some dead wood in this government, we do. Somebody's going to have to do the firing. Somebody's got to be the hatchet man. And I'll take that entire operation on. The buck stops here when it comes to firing the bad wood that is wasting our government money. Well, the evil trolls I burned them out, and then I pretended like I had guest chat off, so they leave for a while until they see me going up in the numbers, and then they see me pop in, and then they start attacking again. It's almost like an insect. It's like a vermin problem. You know, if you don't set out traps for mice, eventually your house is going to be infested. It's just Murphy's Law. They're going to come in. Yeah. I just discovered I had a huge wasp nest from last summer in one of my trees. I managed to get rid of it, but I mean, it's like, if you don't watch and check, man, things happen around you. Nothing's easy. Yeah, I hate two things, vermin and grime. I hate looking at a kitchen that could look nice and clean and be covered with grease and garbage and grime. I just hate that. For me, if you don't maintain a constant effort to keep things up, your life, it falls apart. Grime is like the worst. It's an accumulation of the dirtiest things ever that seems to evade cleaning. You'll see it in the weirdest places. And it looks a little bit like darkness, but what it is just dirt. Clean and simple. Yeah. I don't like calcification either. I have a thing about calcification. I like to keep things running clean as a whistle. Oh, and I didn't tell you about the ocean pipeline, the fix that I have for the entire west coast of America, and anywhere else that we apply this. The Ocean Pipeline project is available at oceanpipeline.com, but it's a plan to desalinate water naturally using the sun. Baking in, this water will actually go inside the middle of these chambers, these modules, and the hot air, or basically the module, will heat up to 150 degrees during the day, in a summer day, anywhere in California. And in the winter, it'll still evaporate, but the water will be evaporating rapidly, and then dewdrops of fresh water land on the inside of the dome and land into these freshwater troughs. That's how it works. And the water gets in there with renewable energy means, like pumping water with windmills and solar panels, etc. I have a kind of a picture of one of the pipeline projects. Something like this will be very affordable, under $20,000 for this setup. And that'll include, yeah, something like that will be really kind of cool. It'll include the solar panels and the wind power. We want to get this affordable so that we can actually implement this across the entire coastline of California. So these will all connect with other ones, but there'll be storage units of water along the way. And the project will ultimately save the day for California long term. But the powers that be, they don't want this. They don't want anything like this. They don't want any solutions that are free. They want to make money on that water. There's the whole purpose for dehydrating California is to give the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds more capital. These people are incredibly greedy. I don't think any of you have any idea how greedy they are. These people that run this monetary system that we have here. Yes. They are greedy beyond all belief. It's not a conspiracy, it's true. Yeah, let me show you this picture right here. This will kind of push you over the edge. For all of you who don't believe that chemtrails are happening, I'll play you a little bit of the NASA scientist. But here's a glimpse of the coastline of just one day of chemtrailing. These are all chemtrails that they spray in the upper atmosphere above California to make it dehydrate. Now the chemtrails are put out there. You know, I don't know about the asteroid. I'm a little concerned about that right now. Thank you. But that's why I'm building my bug out bags. But I'd rather talk about things we can fix. Asteroid, we're all screwed at this point. Thank you. You got another video, Beekman. Wow. Pretty active tonight, aren't you? Oh yeah, I've got this. Mr. Smith. I've got that one. And you too, UK? Freddy versus Slenderman. Oh. We don't do any kind of copyrighted stuff like that, UK. I'm sorry. All right, so looking at this map right here, it's just one swash of chemtrail activity in any typical day. But you can see all that precipitation that's pulling toward the north area, diverting from the Midwest. This has all been their plan. And while they're doing that, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers have formed a union. And they bought up water rights in this area right in here in Sonoma County, Kern County. And this whole area is getting drenched. We had more rain last year than the year before, and that was a record. So we've got tremendous amount of water up here. So it pulls the water up to the northwest and sends it all the way across the coast. Eventually you have like dumps in the northeast. Like we had, it felt like 3 winters in the northeast last year. They said, oh wow, we had 3 winters in upstate New York and Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. No, it's not a Photoshop. This is an actual time frame stamp. Let me show you the site, and you'll go from there. A lot of you are in total denial that you're being dumped on. I get that. So in lieu of that, and I understand your reticence to think that you're being dumped on, but it's happening every day, folks, and you're breathing it. We all are. Unless you're breathing through an air mask or something, you have no idea what's going in your lungs. None of us do. We have a general idea that we're getting barium, aluminum, silver iodide. Silver iodide is used to attract water. It's one of those things. But yeah, I'll play a little thing from a NASA scientist talking about it, just to show you that it's really happening.
Moves. In these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use and different trails during the day. How the wind in the upper atmosphere moves. In these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use and different trails during the day. How the wind in the upper atmosphere moves. In these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use and different trails during the day. How the wind in the upper atmosphere moves. In these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use and different trails during the day. How the wind in the upper atmosphere moves.
Okay, did you get that?
In these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use and different trails during the day. How the wind in the upper atmosphere moves.
Yeah,
in these chemtrails, there's different kinds of chemtrails, as you probably know. Different trails at night we use.
Thank you. I had enough of that. You are all being watched. Ooh. You sexy thing. You're watching yourself, I think, in the mirror. Yeah, Boston got whacked with snow big time. Down in Boston. Down there, to park your car down there in Boston. And sure enough, you had a lot of that in Maine, and oh sure, they got 3 windows there, up there near Vermont there. You're in Vermont area, and then you go down. It's just a whole slam of double, triple winners. Anyway, that's been great. I don't need any psychotropic medication. I'm doing quite well, thank you. I am living here in the Pacific Northwest, at the center of the vortex of the rain. I'm actually in the convergence zone. I'm the direct drop site for the chemtrails. When they start, they go right here where I'm living. That's where they dump them. I'm serious. Now, there's happening down in Florida, it's happening across the nation, but in the Pacific Northwest, I'm the center of the eye of the chemtrails. So they drop them here and they let them spread out. And they're testing lithium along the coast of Oregon, and it's dumbing people down. It's making people really kind of, stupid. I'm not sure if they're using lithium here, but I've got ionizers and air filters in my house, so I doubt I'm breathing anything from outside. I'm ready for the apocalypse. Yeah, I've been ready for years. I use air filters inside the house, yeah. No, I'm not scared of mice. I would have to eat them if, in the event of the apocalypse. I'm prepared. I'm prepared to raise gerbils, if necessary. My state is the state of Washington. I don't think rat kebabs sound too good. They sell rats down in... Oh, by the way, the link to that NASA scientist is right here. I didn't want to just leave you hanging there. You can check it out yourself. NASA scientist admits chemtrails. Breaking news. People are stupid. Guest 212 says. Breaking news, everybody. Yeah, does that make you feel any better knowing that people are stupid? It's kind of a nowhere thought, isn't it? Like, it's not going to help you. Oh, you're so happy. You want music now? Okay. You're starting to get excited? It only happens now and again for some people. You see, lithium lowers your sex drive, too. In case you're wondering why you're so not sexy. That's the problem. It lowers your sex drive. But you need to come on. Come on. Just get it on. It's Friday night. So let's not turn our program into a disaster. I mean, if you listen to Hillary, she's got no ideas like I've got. She got nothing from Donald Trump. He wants to deport everybody. So clearly I'm the best choice for the presidency. Plus I'm cool. I'm hip. I went through the 60s. I danced in the 70s. I was a partier in the 70s. Well, not big partiers. Little partiers. But if we sit around and listen and wait for Hillary, we're going to see the FEMA check-in points. You know that. And that's not going to be cool. We don't want that. So we need to activate this third party and change America. You can do whatever you want.
You're a winner. You're here with me, so that makes you a winner.
Winning! It's a pretty uplifting song.
That makes me want to chill. No, do some exercising.
At least we can do exercise in our chair.
I know, I look like a giant candy corn. It's so cool. It's so groovy. Oh yes, candy corn.
All right. Okay, let's talk about some fun stuff tonight, other than, going to war, which is really a pre-apocalyptic moment from our president. It's a problem. We don't need to go to war. And you don't need to send your family or your kids off to war. Some mothers are really upset right now. Their kids are already getting their assignment to Syria. I mean, this is a depressing pre-holiday event for a lot of families where we are. We're hearing people, being assigned to the Syrian task force now to go directly into Syria with troops. The worst possible president, folks, and I've told you guys who voted for Obama that it was a mistake from the beginning. He was a pro-war guy hiding as a peacenik. I'm a real, genuine peacenik that would never send our troops into harm's way like he's doing, for no reason. I will subtract troops from the Middle East. That's my solemn promise to the American people. On that note, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back to finish the show off with Sarah in just a sec.
Okay. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Oh, they're fighting over the wishbone on the turkey. And this little squirrel.
You can move over in this section here.
Okay, I'll move over into that section.
Thank you.
Oh, then I should just sit in your chair.
That'll work.
Yeah, that'll work. This voted on in the House and Senate. This was voted on in the House and Senate. Oh, goodness. If only you had a brain. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. Fantastic. There we go. Oh, wait. He wants me over here. There we go. What is that? Oh, that's so weird. Human pasted. No, I'm not. 7162. How can we afford another war? The same way we afforded all the others. Continuously borrow money. All the time. Oh, you forgot to turn off the coffee pot. It's probably getting pretty hot. Or something like that. But really, it's actually, if you go read what Jacques Fresco wrote on his website, which is thevenusproject.com, he talks about how we went to a war that we couldn't afford, World War II. We didn't have enough money to pay for all of the things that actually were built and used in the war, but yet we did it. So he talks about a resource-based economy, which I think is a pretty good idea. Um, 7162, I'm always going to be with David, so not going to happen. Yeah, I do wonder if Obama's being manipulated. It's true. Gotta wonder those things. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain? David. Sheesh, he's pretty amazing. No, I think it's foolish for you to come watch a show of someone that you think is foolish. So, that's kind of foolish. Why would you do that? Maybe make better choices. So David has one of the things, he owns a house outright. He doesn't have a mortgage, 115. So for him, it's about spending the least amount of money. Then if you own a house, you just have to pay the taxes on it. So that's it. Unfortunately, if you have a modest house, the more modest your house is, the less taxes that you have to pay for it. So David's house is pretty modest. So that's what he does. They'll find out how I really work it once David becomes president. Yeah. Actually, the way I work is delegate responsibly. Oh, you like, the fall, warm part of fall, like the Indian summer? I don't know how they tax a custom made home. I didn't say that 1154. I'll say this about myself. I like to keep my political life and my professional life private, separated, segregated. So I don't really talk about what I do for a living. Thank you. Yes, there does seem to be two extremes, poor and rich. It's true. Pretty crazy. Seems like the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. I know, isn't it? I know, it's kind of ironic, but it's just the way it is, 5688. And I don't broadcast my whole life on a webcam. You think we all live modestly in America? 7816. I think a lot of people live modestly. I don't know if about everyone. Good night, almost funny. Have fun in the land of dreams. Dave is the one running for office, so I'm supporting him. So, once he gets on the ballot and everything becomes official, I'll disclose anything I have to do. But other than that, I don't think I need to talk about any of that. But yeah, well, you're welcome to do so. 5688. Thanks, Cellfire. Nice American flag you have there. Well, unless David finds another candidate, 115, which could happen. It was pretty funny. He even pasted all these emoticons. Correct, 5688. And I'm only doing that for, yeah. Exactly. Oh, you made rice puddings runs with scissors. How do you make that rice pudding? I'm not hiding anything. Well, actually, I already disclosed what I like to hide. I said I like to keep my professional life and my political life separate at this point in time. Here comes the flags, yes. Ooh, that's a good question. Do you put nutmeg in your rice pudding? Yeah, they call it arroz con leche in Spanish. I have heard horchata is good. Oh, really, Bengalitis? I did not know that. Wouldn't you have to do quite a bit of nutmeg to do that? I'll probably be giving out chocolate. I think that's the best kind of candy there is. Oh, that's pretty cool. Tracking an asteroid 2015 TV-145 live, demonstrating a new program for continuously tracking of minor planets. That's pretty cool. So 1 3/4 cup cooked rice, 2 cups of milk, a third of a cup of white sugar. Cook on simmer for 20 minutes. Ah, interesting. Yes, true. The government hasn't yet banned nutmeg. your mom used to make rice pudding and put raisins in it. That's pretty interesting. Then you add another 1/2 cup of milk, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. 2 more minutes. 20 minutes and then 2 minutes. Okay, and then you add a teaspoon of butter. Wow. Mostly milk, rice milk, sugar, milk, salt, vanilla, butter.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of these things here.
Here, I'll let you sit here.
No, it's okay. I don't mind doing here. Okay, so let me... I haven't used this one in a while. Good ideas, if implemented, will help our country. That's all I can say about that. So, Sarah, how is your week? Are you pretty tired, or in general, or...
Yep.
Yeah, she's pretty tired. You can see she's tired. Life is not easy when you work a whole week like Sarah did. I have a little more energy because I try to rest during the day when I'm, but today I was working nonstop. So what we're going to do today, well, I used to work a lot, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, I used to work 3 jobs. How do you think you get to the point where you just say, hey, I've got enough money, I can live the rest of my life okay. I don't need to, buy caviar every night. Yeah, you've got to stay rested if you want to enjoy life. You really do. If you work your butt off, chances are you won't live a long life. I got to tell you, there's a downside to working nonstop. As much as you love working and making money, you can actually overwork. You need the freedom. Freedom Friday. You need the freedom to take break.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Let me get in the big chair now. I'll handle the next 6 minutes. Sarah, I might get her to watch one show of Survivor if I'm lucky, because when she's this tired, she really needs to hit the hay at 9. Sarah would make a great actress. She should get some headshots. Yeah. Do you want to get into acting, honey? Mad Dog thinks you'd make a great actress. You might be onto something there. I don't think Charlie Brown is really an issue. Hey, let me play a video for you real quick. Don't vote Green Party. They don't have a progressive plan with the border, illegal aliens. Yeah. We have enough actors, you're right. Let me play you a little bit about freedom real quick. Just a little something to remind you how free you really are. It's always nice to see things like this.
Hey everyone. As we can all see, the death penalty is a hot ticket item in the news once again. Only this time, they are using all sorts of methods, from bad science to outright lies, to get the people to rethink on how the U.S. government should be killing people on death row now. And this is why, by the way, a certain video was leaked years ago of a man being electrocuted in Georgia, wherein they purposely kept the sponge on his head dry, so as to cause him to writhe in pain for a few minutes, as well as ignite in flame. That video allowed for legislation that eventually brought about the legal option for the guillotine for all death row inmates in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
I go into much more detail on my Guillotines in America page on the website. If you just go to the warning section of remnantofgod.org, you scroll down to where it says government gone bad. And
okay, so remnantofgod.org. I just wanted to remind you guys that sites like that exist. All right? Go there. Check it out. You'd be surprised. You could spend your whole night looking at guillotines ordered by the state of Georgia. Yeah, some of you really get into the, going down the rabbit hole and looking at all this crazy, wild, wacky stuff that happens to be true. And could very well execute the entire population, depopulate the entire world. So, thought I'd take you on a little sidetrack there to guillotines out of the state of Georgia. Yeah, so let's talk about what you're going to do with the rest of your the days here on Earth before the apocalypse. What do you guys want to do? You're going to meet a beautiful person and have relations and connubial coitus interruptus, uninterrupted coitus interruptus. I mean, what are you going to do in the next few, wherever, decades, days, hours, till the apocalypse? Any ideas? According to Scissor Fight, it's tracking this asteroid. It's heading our way. Starts in 3 minutes. Thank you, Scissor Fight. There's a tracking site out there. Live webcast starts in 3 minutes, folks. So as we end this show, we'll track the satellite. Hopefully it won't hit us. I'm going to brace myself for an apocalyptic event, possibly a mass ejection, coronal ejection. Grab your bug out bags, folks. If you don't have them, you need to make them, like right now. We got 3 minutes till the apocalypse. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just giving you a heads up on our feed. This could be one of many apocalypses, so don't freak. This is just the beginning. So apparently 5 people are watching this broadcast. Not our broadcast, the live webcast of the asteroid. Ted Koppel warns hackers could take down the power grid. Nightline with Ted Koppel. Well, madam, exactly how did it occur to you that you were caught with that dampness issue? Link to YouTube, please. Coming up. All of you need access to full information as the apocalypse approaches. We will give you live blow descriptions of the entire event. Welcome to the animatrized audio animatronic robotic presidential internet chat. I will be your host today. How may I help you? Yeah, I know. I think she should just go to bed, don't you? I should stay up the whole night with you talking. It'd be more meaningful for both of us. I don't know. I really want to see Survivor, though. Hold on. Hold, please. We are receiving information. Live streaming is starting soon. Position. No streaming yet. Tell me when the streaming starts. Welcome to the show. Dave, do you post on Vimeo? Currently not, Beekman. Dave, do you take Viagra every day too, or only the caffeine? Are you okay? I do not take Viagra. I do not take anything that would interfere with my sex drive. The downside of Viagra is you end up feeling very unhorny. I've never taken it, but I hear from accounts of individuals, eyewitness accounts. Okay, so let's get back to this.
Hello, welcome to Astronomy Live.
Go ahead.
So tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a special asteroid 2015 TB-145, which is a near-Earth asteroid flying by Earth today.
Wow.
But first, we're going to take a look at the Andromeda Galaxy. The reason being, I underestimated the size of the tree I was going to be contending with early in the evening, and it turns out that the asteroid is still in the tree. But telescope's set up and ready to go, so we're just going to bide our time until the asteroid does rise out of the tree and allows us to see it. In the meantime, we're just going to take some exposures here of the Andromeda Galaxy because it happens to be handy at the moment and will be nice to look at in the meantime.
I'm ready. Let me tell you
I apologize for underestimating how long it was going to take the asteroid to actually rise over all obstacles, but
you should have been prepared. I am blaming you, and I'm going to contact Brian Williams at MSNBC. Go ahead, Brian. Brian, what's your take on this? Well, Dave, I'm currently being attacked by helicopters in my share. Okay, this is the deal. I really believe that this asteroid is not a big deal. We should be a little less concerned about the asteroid and more about what they're doing to the atmosphere. And we've summed up the problem with Fukushima tonight. We talked about the chemtrails that are obviously incessant. We got some really good videos I want to play with you for you tonight. Let's see if we can pull that up. 10 places Google Earth is hiding from you. This is brought to you by Beekman. And NASA, the favorite acronym of not a single answer, is kind of what we're getting. A lot of you are beginning to realize that, hey, we do live in a beautiful world. Our planet is beautiful. They're killing our planet. I would like to believe that we went to the moon. The math doesn't make sense. I don't really care that they didn't go to the moon, but if they can fly in orbit, that's interesting. I don't want them to artificially change the food chain by adding GMOs to our diet. I'm against that. As much as possible, I want to limit GMO activity. I also want to make sure that farmers don't have to pay patent rights for GMOs in their farming at all. So I want to definitely appeal to Iowa voters on that level. All those cases, lawsuits against GMO producers, I'm going out hard against them as your president, initiating the Justice Department to launch an investigation into Monsanto and their use and abuse of law. And I believe that the recent Supreme Court ruling outlawing genetic patents on U.S., or actually human beings, carbon-based human beings, will be used as a precedent in the case I will put together with the Justice Department to stop Monsanto from charging you for a seed you didn't even order. And then I want to legalize marijuana. I talked about that. That's really important. I know they left lasers on the moon. Yeah, I know, sure. Can you cite me exactly where that laser site is? Because I've been to the one that they claim have lasers on the moon, and there's no corroboration whatsoever that they exist. They put together a nice little animation there. It's a cute site, but if you can get me a legit site that tells me that there are lasers and shows me a live active feed, I'll be very interested, Beekman. Thank you. But if you really, ask yourself, if the government has all these things out there that are just propaganda and lies, what kind of government is that? And where are they headed toward? Where are they taking us? It's very suspicious. Makes me really, really question our government, and that's what we need to do. If you aren't questioning your government, there's something wrong. If you, as a citizen, aren't asking why, there's something wrong. If there's something wrong, we need to fix it. So there's a logical connection here, an equation that leads to you, the voter. I can't do it. I don't have the money, and I certainly don't want to enter this race with tons of money like Donald Trump. He shows me that the guy's got to buy his support. I want natural, real support from the American people. That's the only way I'm going to be able to fix the country too. He can't garnish support. He'll get lots of people on the left that'll hate him if he would ever move forward. They won't do what he says. It'll be more like George W. Bush again. He's like another George W. Bush, except he wants to go back to like the ancient days of deportation when we round people up. I mean, that's not going to work. When Donald Trump took my idea for the 1,000-mile fence, he must have had some plan to pay for it. But when asked, he kind of stumbled, and he finally said, well, Mexico's going to pay for it. Mexico's going to pay for it. Mexico's not going to pay for a fence we put on our border. I mean, what the hell? Had he listened to my show, he would have realized we have a plan to use prison labor, non-U.S. citizens that are currently costing our nation $25 billion a year, to warehouse them. 400,000 men could be working daily and making money and then going back to their home country to reform and to be a better person. I don't like these statements from 568, so I'm going to purge you. But we will be cutting off some of our guest chat at a certain hour if guests get raucous, and I'll be watching guest chat. So thanks everybody for coming in. It's been special. It's been real special. Yeah. Tomorrow is our anti-war and our Halloween show combined. Starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll be in with my little get-up, and we'll be having fun again. Thanks again for coming in, enjoying our show. Really big show. So, ladies and gentlemen, from Liverpool, London, Google